Bam! Hello again and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is episode 505 of the Mana Pool, and I am in an exceedingly good mood today. I am Chewy, and that was not the lead dork, and with me as always are some other dorks. Okay, now it's your turn.
Okay, it's Brian. It's the lead rambler. I'm the lead rambler, tangent master guy, and I got to agree with Chewy. It's a great day. We got all of Dominaria revealed. Witchwood came out. You know, puppies and kitties for everybody. It's a good time to be alive. So, yeah.
It really is.
I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and game lore guy. And for some reason, I almost started reciting Dirk's introduction, which doesn't make sense. But yes, it is also a good day. It's been a nice, non-annoying day at work, and my mysterious audio problems solved themselves just after logging back in again, and it's great.
And I am Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive in moral comps of the group, and I could never be as awesome in Mike and quote his intro, so...
So, to start us off, I have to... Brian already knows this, and the people who were at my Witchwood pack opening stream at the beginning know this, but Dirk and Mike do not. So, hey, Dirk and Mike.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you will direct yourselves to Discord so you can see... You see me?
Yes.
I am waving emphatically.
Yeah, it's a little choppy, but yes, I see you.
Okay. So we got a package today.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big-ass, like, cardboard tube that was really heavy.
It took you approximately at least 10 minutes to open.
He's not wrong. In it was this.
Oh, that's glorious.
Ooh. Oh, cool.
The poster of an island?
This is the map of Ixalan.
Yeah.
Oh.
Isn't that cool?
That's awesome.
Very.
And
It's super shiny. Yeah.
also in it was this.
Oh, map of Dominaria?
This giant...
Yes.
Wow.
I think it's... I did a quick measurement with a tape measure earlier, but I already forgot. I think it's like 34 by 22 or something.
That's pretty serious.
The artist, Jared Blondo, was had for sale.
Yeah.
Wow. You want to know what's really cool about this?
Yeah.
In that tube, there were 4 of each.
That's
wow.
awesome.
That's killer.
That is that yeah.
I have to look for space on my wall now.
Yeah, I started immediately looking around in here. I'm like, I've only got that wall right there. So this might end up in a different room. But how cool is that? That was a gift from, I don't know his name. I just know him as Tenthtechpriest.
And he was on the stream, and I really wanted to say something because I was like, yay, but I didn't want to interrupt Chewy's flow. And so Chewy's like, hey, Brian, on battle.net, he's like, hey, we got a surprise. I'll tell you later. And I'm like, sweet. But yes, thank you. Because Chewy, you said that you knew how much these cost because he had told you before he said what he was getting. He said, or you had told him or something.
Yeah, he brought it up on a stream. He's like, did you guys see that Jared is selling Jared Blondo? I don't know how to say his name. Is selling these giant prints, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then he told me how much they were. I don't remember now.
Well, that's okay. We don't have to.
I mean, they look nice.
Yeah, they're very nice.
Freaking sick. And the Ixalan ones were just thrown in because they were misprints.
Just like a little ding and dent, whatever.
The font is slightly off center.
Yeah, apparently.
Like to the point that Chewy had to like ask.
Yeah, I'm like looking at it like I don't see anything wrong with these at all. This is amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah,
32 by 24. Excuse me, and yeah,
super ultra generous. Just it's unbelievable.
10th Tech, thank you so much, dude. That is, I got choked up on the stream. I'm doing it again. So this isn't a video podcast, thank goodness.
Well, and he was throwing bits at you every time you open a legend, right? Or was that that was
Pinball Witch.
That's Pinball Witch, yeah. All of our fans are just awesome fans.
They really are.
Yeah.
So, Dude, yeah, and those packs I got the pre-order of Witchwood packs. That was a gift from Stark Maximum. He saw in a stream that I didn't have the pre-order. He's like, "What?" And so now I have the pre-order. So, thanks to him too. That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm forgetting something. Oh, and one more thing. I got
one more thing.
A PayPal donation for an entry into a pre-release from
cool.
I've had to pronounce his name before back in the day. Here, let me put it in the chat. It's this guy.
I haven't seen that name in a long time.
Right?
You know how bad I am at mispronouncing English words. So I
would say Steen for the first name. Maybe
Stijn?
Stygian.
I don't think you.
You know, we could do
maybe Stijn.
We could do the Monday Night Magic thing and just be sure to screw it up, since we're gonna screw it up anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, a big dude. Thank you so much, because it's like tax season, and things are slowly spiraling out of control this month. So I was actually I was gonna go to the Dominaria pre-release, but it was gonna hurt, and now it doesn't. So thank you so much.
I wonder if we should contact Lucky's, or if you're going to go to a different store and see if we need to pre-register, given how popular everything seems to be.
That's the thing we should probably do.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's this weekend, right? No, it's next.
It's next weekend.
Okay, good.
This weekend is the open house. That's what people were talking about the other day.
And then yesterday,
you show up and you can get a fancy promo of Llanowar Elves or something.
Oh yeah, the full art Llanowar, which is sick. Yesterday, Mike came over to my apartment, and we got a new stream setup going, and we actually did a Masters 25 Winchester draft on stream. What? Magic on my channel?
Now that you have streamed Magic, the prophecy is complete. You will never not be able to not stream Magic.
Hey, it wasn't Magic Online, which is the important thing.
That's true.
Yeah, it was actual paper Magic.
It wasn't Arena either.
And it was. Oh, speaking of which, in my chat today during the Witchwood stream, Will, Sogeking, who's been around forever, he was the other person that wasn't Dirk or Jake when we went into World of Warcraft. He was the other guy with us. You remember Dirk?
Mm-hmm.
Will mentioned in the Twitch chat that he somehow ended up getting 2 codes for Arena. And he's like, I wish I could send one to Chewy. And someone else in chat, I think it was Pinball Witch, said, I think you can. And he disappeared from the chat for a few minutes. And a few minutes later, he emailed me his code. I haven't had a chance to try it, but it's possible. I've got to go to the Arena beta now.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
So, holy crap, everybody's awesome. Like, it's insane. I saw Ready Player One yesterday. That was really fun.
How was it?
It was fun. Mom didn't get, because I see movies with Mom, Mom didn't get any of the, like the pop culture things, hey, there's Tracer, and oh my god, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and is that the Battletoads? Oh my god, that's the Battletoads, I'm gonna die. She didn't know what a Gundam was. She knew what the Iron Giant was, but the significance of that didn't hit her, but she still really enjoyed it. So I enjoyed both halves of it, the insane background fan service nonsense that was going on and the actual story. I thought it was fun. I didn't read the book, so I don't care. People are like, the book was better. The book's always better. Shut up.
Yeah.
Ow.
It's the medium that you get with it. Some of them are more detailed than others.
Exactly. I always had 2 cases for when the book wasn't better. One was The Crow. The graphic novel just didn't do anything for me at all, but the movie is pretty good. And the second was, depending on who you ask, The Lord of the Rings. The original Lord of the Rings are a masterpiece in their own way, but Tolkien kind of sucked at telling stories in that, because it was more of a history book, oddly enough. So, I think the movies are better from a storytelling perspective.
Yeah. It depends on which medium you prefer, because that's why video game movies always are terrible.
Tomb Raider was good too. Anyway, this is not Pop Culture, the podcast. This is the Mana Pool, we were talking about Magic the Gathering, but I had to, once we started talking about all the neat stuff, I had to keep going out. So thank you all so much, everyone, for everything. The listening, the sharing with people. V-Bane put the, I think V-Bane was the video, the YouTube video of the card reveals episode on Reddit. So it got way more hits than a normal podcast episode on YouTube gets. So thanks, buddy. I'm pretty sure it was V-Bane. He'll be like, that wasn't me, but thanks for the shout out. But but anyway, so something amazing happened today.
Yes.
On top of all of this other stuff,
Still?
Wizards of the Coast gave us a gift of the entire set of Dominaria.
Yes. As if they knew we were recording tonight and didn't make us wait until tomorrow.
So we now have the entire set to look at.
I was a little amazed at that. It was like, that is astonishingly convenient.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter this morning. I think it was like Trick Jarrett, tweeted. It might not have been. But somebody at Wizards tweeted, hey, the preview season's coming to a close, so here's the whole set. And I was like, damn it, why didn't that happen before oh God, we didn't record yet! I had also literally just woken up and was thumbing through my phone, so I'm usually confused for about 20 minutes in the morning. So Brian had an idea to kick us off. We should hit the story spotlight cards.
Indeed.
And that's a brilliant idea.
So we'll cover these in order. So we start in green. Is anybody here that likes green card? Like talking about green stuff?
I can't think of anybody.
I don't know.
Clues hates blue. Does that count?
That counts. Hey, give me clues. Stat.
Clues, pick up the disco.
Hey, Dirk, the card is named Broken Bond. And we need to make sure we go over the flavor text of these too. So,
all right. Broken Bond. For 1 and a green, it is a common, I assume that's common.
Yeah.
Common sorcery. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. You may find a land card from your hand, or you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Flavor text says, I can't bear to see another plane broken before I have my own home whole. I'm sorry, but my watch is over.
Yeah. What does the art show?
It is Glissa.
Wait, try that again.
Nissa?
Yes.
Okay. Glissa, Nissa.
Yeah,
Nissa breaking her watch.
Yeah.
Her oath.
Her oath, sorry.
Yeah.
You can see the little glyph that, on the Oath of Nissa is the one that she's kind of made and holding up, and now it's on the floor broken. And you see some birds in there?
Mm-hmm.
What do those look like to you?
Crows.
I was going to say scale birds. Wait, no. We know how big Nissa is.
Think. Let's call them ravens for now and keep moving on.
Yeah, their head doesn't look quite right to be actual ravens, but I get what you're saying.
So at this point, she and the others, except for Jace, have landed on Dominaria after getting their butts whooped by Nicobolus. Jace isn't there because, of course, his mind got erased. And so the beginning of this story is actually taking place at the same time as the story on Ixalan.
Okay.
So it's going to be a couple months before Jace shows up.
Yeah. And she is not impressed by the fact that apparently, they had helped Liliana destroy the demon with her contract on Amonkhet, and kind of in a backwards way where they were told, we're here for Nicobolus, and Liliana's like, oh, by the way, you got to go through the demon. And they're all kind of like, what? Well, okay. And now they're here, and she finds out, oh, the last one of Liliana's demons is here. And she's like, I'm not doing this again. I came because I thought I needed to protect. I came because of what happened on Zendikar. I'm done. I'm going home. And she leaves.
And they also, and Dominaria still shows signs of being pretty well damaged from
being blown up over and over and over.
Yeah, from being blown up over and over again. They landed in Urborg when they first got there.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So, although it doesn't look nearly as desolate as it did in Time Spiral, where you've got the giant, vast, salt plains and things. The plane is bouncing back a little bit, but the Cabal is not helping.
Yeah.
The Cabal is kind of taking over. Chandra, for her part, says, well, I'm not leaving the gate watch, but she felt like she needed to kind of connect with herself, find herself a little bit. So she left as well. Interestingly enough, that leaves us with Gideon and Liliana, who are the two probably least likely to get along with each other. But Gideon is the one that says, I still need you to beat Nicol Bolas. I can't beat Nicol Bolas without you. You will, if we beat this last demon, you'll be able to use the full strength of the chain veil, right? And she's like, yep. And he's like, all right. He doesn't look like he completely trusts her anymore, but he kind of sees that this is the best option for him. And so he's like, all right, let's go. And she's very annoyed by him and his, rather straightforward nature. But in the end, she also realizes she doesn't stand a chance without him, especially when she comes to realize that, and here we're getting to some spoiler territory, but this connects us to the next story card. It's in black, and it's called Final Parting. Hey, Chewy, have you seen this yet?
Maybe?
Well, why don't you go ahead and read it?
Final Parting. 3 black for an uncommon sorcery. Search your library for 2 cards. Put one in your hand and the other into your graveyard, then shuffle your library. Nice. Oh, okay. This is Sleep Now, brother. That is the one gift I can give you, Liliana Vess. I think we should sidetrack real quick and talk about Jozu, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jozu
Vess was Liliana's brother. He got really sick, and the events that led up to igniting her Planeswalker spark was actually from Liliana trying to find a way to heal him.
Yep.
The problem is that her strategy, just through a series of aggravating events, ended up involving necromantic magic, and it made him even worse, and it killed him and turned him into a zombie. That's when she planeswalked away and found herself in Innistrad, and she hasn't been back to Dominaria in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did all this, at least I found out about all this playing through the story mode of Magic Origins on Duels, Magic Duels.
That is where it was really kind of established for the first time.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is that Liliana basically always assumed that when she planeswalked away, her brother, basically the magic sustaining him, wore off, and that he basically turned back into a corpse. And she comes back here, and she finds out the Cabal are being led by the last demon, the demon lord,
Belzenlock.
And her old home, the Vests, the township of Vest, where she was, a noble lady growing up, has been attacked fairly relentlessly by a Cabal being led by a Lich. And when she senses his presence, she realizes, oh, it's Jozu.
Whoops.
And she assumes, okay, Belzenlock raised him, turned him into a Lich because he knew I would be coming back. Maybe he sensed the other demons dying or something. This is his revenge against me. And then she, as we see here on the card, she's finally putting Jozu to rest. The trick with this is, and what Belzenlock seems to be thinking, is she has to tap into the chainmail to destroy Jozu, so that will leave her that much weaker when she actually has to face the Demon Lord, because using the chainmail takes a heavy toll on her. So by directing it against her brother, Belzenlock is kind of sparing himself from that. What Jozu tells Liliana as he's finally passing away is, I don't forgive you. When you left, I tore our whole family apart. I didn't die. I didn't go back to sleep. I was a mindless, raving zombie, and I killed the rest of the family. And this makes her feel even worse. So, really quick about what the card does. I think this is a really interesting card because for 1 more mana, this is a Diabolic Tutor that also is a what is that? Entomb at sorcery speed, but still, I think that's pretty good. And it's in a color where you could literally search for a recursion spell and put the target into your graveyard at the same time. I mean, seems pretty good to me.
It does. So, Jozu got a card too.
He did. Well, let's go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah. So, he's all right. Jozu Vess, Lich Knight. Oh, he's a Lich Knight. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For 2 black, he's a 4/5 rare zombie knight. Of course, he's legendary. He has menace. 4/5 with menace. That seems...
That's really serious for 4 mana.
For 4 mana,
For 4 mana, that's kind of insane.
Thank goodness it's legendary and you can't have 2 running around.
You're right.
And he's a zombie, which has lots and lots and lots of support.
And he's a knight, which is getting support in this set specifically.
Yeah, this seems pretty
That's
good.
okay. Wait, read his kicker.
Yeah, it gets worse.
Yeah.
His kicker for 5 and a black, taking his total cost up to 10. Right? 4 and 6 is 10. Yeah, math is easy. Shut up. When Josuves Lich Knight enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create 8 2/2 black zombie knight creature tokens with menace.
With menace? I missed that part.
I did too!
You missed that part? How could you? Well, okay, I clearly messed up our own preview card last week, so I'm not one to say anything. But, jeez, just.
So
How
this
many
is
blockers you
already, like, good.
Do you have 20 blockers? No? Oh, too bad.
Like, this is already good, just as the 4/5 menace for 4.
Oh, it's incredibly good.
But then for 10, it's just an army of zombies that you can't block.
Yeah. And granted, it is 10, but if something costs 10, it had better be good.
And
I
it
think
is.
this is.
Yeah.
Because you see, when you play him, you go, I got a zombie army, and you can't harm me. Hoodoo you voodoo, bitch.
But
It's from a video game. Sorry.
But I mean, even as good as that is, most of the time I think on 4, I'm just gonna windmill slam this guy onto the board, just straight up, like boom. But if it's late game and you top deck this, I don't know, unless they have flyers, how do you lose? I mean,
Removal.
How much power is that?
Well, it's 8 times 2
20.
is 6. It's 20. Yeah.
It's 20 power with menace.
Seems good. Anyway, so Story
All right.
Spotlight 3.
Story Spotlight 3 is also in black. It's called Settle the Score. And I guess I'll go ahead and talk about it. Settle the
I was
score.
scrolling the wrong way.
That's all right. Settle the score. And I
Math
will
is
tell you-
easy. Alphabet is hard.
I'll tell you, we've actually seen the first 2 Story Spotlight cards actually come out in the story articles that they posted thus far. At this point, we're actually getting into the future stories that haven't come out yet. So this is Settle the Score for 2 and 2 black. This is kind of the hero's downfall of the set. As an uncommon sorcery, I'm sorry, not hero's downfall, but anyway, exile target creature. Put 2 loyalty counters on a planeswalker you control. You bound me with a contract, only your death could end, and you thought me the fool? Liliana
Idiot.
Bess.
Like
So
I wouldn't
she-
kill your ass to get out of this.
Yeah, she's obviously taking apart Bells and Lock, which we're not sure how it's happening. We're not sure, where or how. He seems to be holed up in the stronghold, and they're trying to figure out a way to get in where we are in the story now. But she's dismantling him, and flavor-wise, this is great. I misspoke. This does not destroy planeswalkers, but from a flavor perspective, you're destroying a creature like Bells and Lock and making a planeswalker like
Unless I use
Liliana.
the word destroy since it has a different game. meaning.
Okay, all right. Yes, we are removing
There.
a killing a creature and making a planeswalker like Liliana stronger. I love it from a flavor perspective and from a gameplay perspective. I mean, you're going to play this on 4, especially in limited, whether you got a planeswalker or not. But 2 loyalty on a planeswalker, for some planeswalkers, that's literally like, for planeswalkers that only have a +1 ability, that's 2 extra turns, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of work for an uncommon. I think it's very solid. I don't think it needs to be rare. But it's pretty darn good, I think.
Yeah, and
feel
like
like you're
the loyalty counters on a planeswalker are just gravy. Like,
Yeah.
in limited, being able to just point and click, exile a creature. Yeah, that's good. Even if it costs 4 at sorcery speed, it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
So then,
The last one, the last story
Okay.
spotlight.
was that Mike I heard about to say something?
I don't know.
No, okay, never mind.
I might have made a noise, but I wasn't about to say something.
Oh, okay.
Well, you should make a couple noises now. Why don't you go ahead and take this last story spotlight card? It's in blue.
Okay, I'll try to make these noises in the correct order.
Real quick.
Real quick.
Before we do anything else,
Hold everything.
In final parting, we didn't talk about this. In the art, you see Liliana, and you see kind of what looks the decaying arm of Jozu. Notice the birds around Liliana again, and then
birds as before.
Yep, and you can see a couple and settle the score as well. So now there's this one.
Wait.
Oh, you can see them and settle the score?
I don't see any birds and settle the score.
Really? Where?
I thought I was looking at a bigger version.
Or not.
I thought this was something that all of them had in common. Actually, now I don't see it. Why are they doing that to me? I thought this was a thing. So I thought this was an allusion to the Raven Man.
I was going to say, wait a minute, hang on. Are we going to find out that the Raven Man was freaking Nicol Bolas?
It really shouldn't be, because at the time that Liliana, was Nicol Bolas?
That seems really cheesy.
Was Nicol Bolas out of the meditation plane when he was in the meditation? He was stuck when Liliana's spark ignited. He was there later to broker the deal with the demons, but I think at the time, I don't think it's Bolas, because I think he was stuck in another plane.
Because that would be really lame.
Does being stuck? Well, I mean, did that keep him from like astral projecting or stuff
For
like
the
that?
most part, yeah. He could barely even, manage to send a message to the Talon Gates to try and get. So I think so.
Yeah, I read something speculating that the Raven Man was Leshrac or Limdul.
Ah, that would be neat. That would be way cooler than Bolas.
So anyway, sorry. I thought that you're right. I thought that was going to be a little visual thing, but it's apparently not in that one. So, okay.
Okay. All right. So this one, in Bolas's clutches, and it shows Liliana standing in front of Nicol Bolas, and he has an evil grin on his face.
And he's holding his his claws out in like a gimme motion.
Yeah. And Chewie made mention of this on an earlier episode.
Last week.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that it's not something I stopped and thought about. Why did Nicol Bolas give Liliana the advice to make this deal with the demons in the first place? He's not a nice guy. He's the opposite of a nice guy.
He eats nice guys. Like, not for breakfast, but for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Literally with a side of ketchup.
Ketchup.
Mike?
Hello?
Don't tell me we lost Mike.
I will not tell you that.
But we'll leave you to whatever interpretation you believe in.
Yeah, he just said, well, dang, in the chat. So, yeah, it looks like Mike will be back in a second.
Am I not back?
Oh, there
you are. Oh, hey, that was faster than usual.
Yeah, it was. So I've learned that when that happens, if I click the mute button, it won't actually show that I'm muted until I'm reconnected again. So once the mute symbol pops up on my little guy, then I know I'm reconnected.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, in Bolas's clutches, 4 blue. It's a legendary enchantment. It's an aura, and it's uncommon. And it has enchant permanent. You control enchanted permanent. Enchanted permanent is legendary. Your contract is in default. You belong to me now. Serve or die.
Congratulations. You killed the demons.
Surprise!
Good job. You belong to me now. I still think she's just lucky not to be dead, because, it's entirely possible that killing them could have ended the magic that was keeping her alive. I think I speculated on that last week. But obviously she's still alive, which works for Nicol Bolas's purposes, because now he's got a centuries-old necromancer.
Yeah, who's holding the chain veil.
Who's holding the chainmail.
Veil.
Veil.
What'd I say?
Mail. You keep saying chainmail.
Yeah. So
Mithril. Where'd you get it?
So, yeah, last week we joked, somebody said, wouldn't it be terrible if it ended up, Bolas was behind it all? And I was like, yeah, because he's like Freddie Mac. He just, I bought up all your debt, haha. And then as soon as this was previewed, people hit me with it on Twitter, and I was like, aw.
Well,
I
I mean,
don't like being right about this particular thing.
well, I don't think I mind it simply because it kind of connects the characters together in a different way. And to be honest, you know, what are we going to do? Are we going to have her kill the demons and then she's like, "Yay, I'm free," you know, and what? Without her being in service to someone, it's kind of a question of, well, then where's her character arc going? So
yeah, if she was just free of everything, she'd be like, "I appreciate the help, Gatewatch." She wouldn't even say that. She'd be like, "I'm out, suckers," and then she's out.
Yeah, the fact that Gideon continues to trust her is just really kind of sad.
He's so cute.
It is. And now whether or not
he actually cares about the team, though. That's why.
He does. Does she?
No.
No.
I mean, she helped them against Emrakul when she could have very easily just left. But she really also saw it as preserving them to her own end. So.
Yeah, she needed them to not die horribly. Otherwise, killing the demons wouldn't work.
Yeah. So as far as the card itself,
oh yeah,
I think you know, the ability to just point at anything on the board and say that's mine now is pretty cool. And I actually kind of like the fact that not only is the fact that the permanent becomes legendary in this set a bonus, because there's all sorts of things that care about having something legendary. In fact, it allows you to play the legendary sorceries. But I actually kind of like the fact that this is legendary because it avoids the really obnoxious, you know, let me just play a copy, take that, next turn play a copy, take that. You know, you can only have one copy of this out. So that I think is a good thing. Now,
be warned, listeners, it only lets you cast the legendary sorceries if you grab a creature or a planeswalker.
Correct. I did, yes.
Yeah, just in case, because I was like, oh, dude, you could grab a... Wait, no, it doesn't work that way. And since I had that thought, I'm sure someone else out there did too.
I mean, you can certainly take whatever you want with this, but then Chewy's right. If it's not a creature or planeswalker, then... and you don't already have a legendary creature or planeswalker, then there's nobody to quote-unquote cast the spell. So, sweet. So those are the story spotlight cards. There are a ton of other interesting cards to go over. So anybody just find a card that you really want to point out and call it out. For example, Gideon's Reproach is a reprint, but the art is amazing. So Gideon's Reproach is a reprint for 1 and a white. It's a common instant. It's a combat trick. It deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. We've seen it before. I think first time might have been in
Battle for Zendikar block.
It was either Battle for Zendikar or Kaladesh.
Gideon's Reproach was on Battle, yeah.
Okay.
And it was him with his Searle up above his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this, I love the art here. Look at those colors. And then it's very reminiscent of, you know, Epic, what's the Epic Punch card? What's the...
There's Epic Confrontation and the one where the dude punches a bear. And I can never remember the name of the card because it's the one...
Punch.
Savage Punch.
So this is kind of like Gideon's Savage Punch. And I love, the flavor text is, on Amonkhet, Gideon lost both his Soral and his faith in himself. But he can still throw a punch, and he still knows a bad guy when he sees one. And he's clearly punching some Cabal lackey. It might even be Whisper. Unfortunately, you know, a lot of them look very similar because of the way the cultists shave their heads and all that. But he's like, you, bad guy, punch. And it's great. And I always like this, and I do like this in Limited, because 4 damage for 2 mana to attacking or blocking is just great. So
seems pretty good. So there you go, Kim on Twitter. He's like, since the whole set came out, I need one of you to read the flavor text on Gideon's Reproach. There you go. I didn't even have to tell them to do it.
I knew I was going to talk about this card right away. There's mythics we haven't talked about. There's lots of interesting combo cards, but I saw this one. I'm like, Gideon Punch. Gideon Punch.
There's so much to talk about.
All right. So what's another one before I start naming more?
I laughed a bit when I saw Blink of an Eye because it made me remember part of the Mad Lib when we were talking about the Into the Royal reprint.
Is this the same as Into the Royal?
Except for the name.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought.
Oh, it is. Wow.
Yeah, I was like, is that the... Yeah, I think because Into the Royal is very is
It's
very
specific to Zendikar.
You got it. And in fact, we don't even know if the Royal still technically exists on Zendikar since the Titans have been blown up. So this is a reprint they could make whenever they do Kicker. So
Yes.
What's it do, Mike? Seriously smart.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
under the roll.
for 1 and a
Okay.
blue, it's an instant. It's common. Has a kicker of 1 and a blue. You bounce a non-land permanent to its owner's hand, and if the spell was kicked, you draw a card.
Into the Royal, even in Zendikar Limited, was extremely fast, just extremely fast. But Blink of the Eye was always a really decent card, just tempo-wise. So I like it. Blink of an Eye. And he's covered in eyes. So it's kind of creepy.
Can you tell which one is blinking?
No. Wait, maybe there's more eyes there and you just can't see them.
Because they're blinking.
Blinking.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Well, before we leave this line entirely, I don't know what is. I think it's the flavor text on Cold Water Snapper, but I just went, ha!
I literally just copied the image link to that and sent it to Bill, since Bill has a thing for turtles.
Hey, Dirk,
Mm-hmm.
read Cold Water Snapper.
Is that green?
It's in blue.
No, it's blue.
It's in the same line as Blink of an Eye. To be fair, he looks green, so
I was going to say, he's green.
but it's a blue card.
Cold Water Snapper. Oh yeah, he's definitely looks greeny. So for 5 and a blue, he is a common turtle that's at 5/4, and he has
Wait.
4/5.
There you go.
4/5. Sorry, my bad, yos. But he has, wait for it, keep waiting, hexproof.
And now read the flavor text.
For generations, the inhabitants of Orvanda have hungered for turtle soup. For generations, the turtles have frustrated their ambitions.
Can anyone with a straight face tell me they did not immediately think of Shredder? When
Shredder,
they heard
yeah.
Turtles too. It took me completely out of it. I was reading and I'm like, what? Turtle, tonight I dine on. I guess not that. Look at the scale birds in this shot.
Yeah, that's a big-ass turtle, dude.
And I'm just like, okay, I feel like the set in general is kind of like on the more serious side. It's not as jokey, but you're allowed to do jokes. But I'm like, okay, how badly? This is for generations. They have hungered for turtle soup. Like, that's pretty obsessive if you ask me. Like, can we have turtle soup today, Grandma? Not today. Maybe your grandchildren. Aw. I'm like, dudes, just raise some chickens or something.
We can't eat the turtle soup. You remember my father's father's father and his father before him. They all went turtle hunting and none of them came back. That's why our family still doesn't dine on turtle soup. Shut up.
I love it.
Speaking of not jokey, just look at the art on Arcane Flight.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
It's a cat leaping off of a tower to try to grab a bird, and a wizard is throwing some wings on him, I guess, so the cat doesn't plummet to his doom.
I think he's saying, no, don't. That's the flavor
Or-
text.
yeah.
The Tolarian academies are known for their magical research, powerful sorcerers, and accidental destruction of ecosystems.
Well, I mean, you could make the case either
Oh,
way.
It's a flying
because
cat. It'll be fine.
It might be, oh, I saved my cat, but now all of a sudden the cat can actually hunt the birds. So, bye-bye birds.
Oh, God.
It's like the episode of The Simpsons where they brought a frog to Australia, and did you see that? Where by the end of the episode, the frogs are like overrunning Australia. So anyway, it's cats in the air. What that seems like bad for the birds.
Like you do. While
Yeah.
we're in blue, I also really love the art on divination.
Yeah.
Like, look at this. You're looking through a giant microscope at a crystal ball. Good job there, Talaria. Good job.
I really like, and it's amazing to me. We've got all these amazing cards, and all the cards we've covered so far are common. But
Yeah, and like the next 2 or 3 I'm itching to mention are common.
Ooh,
Are you gonna
like
mention-
what?
Like a Mesa Unicorn
Mesa unicorn.
in white. For 1 and a white, it's a unicorn, and it's
Oh,
a
that's-
2/2 with lifelink for just 2 mana.
and that's just look at that art.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's beautiful. Oh, it's one on Nelson. Okay, that explains that.
But yeah, that's really good, and that's not something you'd see in a normal set. I think the only disadvantage it has is that it doesn't have a relevant creature type for tribal synergies. But
yeah, you couldn't do a 2/2 for 1 and a white, maybe 2 white, but 1 and a white that's like a human knight with lifelink. That would just be stupid.
Yeah, that'd be too much.
So, that's beautiful art. What's the other one you were going to mention?
Artificer's Assistant, also in blue.
Ah.
It's a pretty bird for a single blue mana. It's a 1/1 bird with flying, and whenever you cast a historic spell, scry 1.
Nice and simple.
Okay. Since we have talked about a lot of fun commons, and you just mentioned historic, there was a card I saw today when I was going over the whole set that literally made me a little afraid. You guys have talked about some of the concerns with historic, and I've been like, no, I think they'll do a good job. And I read this card, and I'm like, So I'm going to take us all the way down to the bottom of the page at Artifacts. And I'm going to tell you about a little card called Traxos.
Somehow I knew that's the one you were going to mention.
Because it has me afraid. Traxos, Scourge of Prague, whatever. For 4 mana, it is a 7/7 legendary artifact creature construct. Again, for 4 mana, it's a 7/7.
Now, if you play Hearthstone, you already know a 4 mana 7/7 is bad news.
And this does not have what's the shaman ability?
Overload.
Overload. And it has built-in trample. He enters the battlefield tapped and doesn't untap during your untap step. Okay, well that might be a major hurdle because he's not able to untap all the time. Whenever you cast a historic spell, untap Traxos. Which includes, as we've discussed, artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
Which if anything has me concerned about how part of me is excited for this card, but part of me is also like, it's a 7/7 with trample for 4 mana. And whenever they play an artifact, they untap it. How is that not like vigilance, in the right deck? I'm not trying to be one of those like the sky is falling kind of guys, but I see it and I go, because it makes me think that if there is potential for abuse, this guy could very well be included in that. I guess if there's any weakness, it's that literally any artifact destruction spell will take care of it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that, but I don't buy entirely into the dies to terror, dies to Doomblade argument simply because it overlooks just the general efficiency of a creature that's a 7/7 with trample for 4 mana. Oh my god. It's a legendary creature, so you can't run out multiples, but you can also play one next turn, play something else, untap it, swing, and then play another copy to, if nothing else, untap the first one. So it's not like they're completely dead.
Comedy.
Or you can let them destroy the first one, and then you're like, all right. So I'm, again, not being like, but I'm kind of like, So what do you guys think?
I think cool. Lots of people have sent this to me. Like, did you see this? I'm like, no. And then I read it, and I'm like, damn.
And isn't there a card in here that reduces the cost of historic cards? I feel like
Joy was familiar. It's also in artifacts.
Oh, that's right. At least Joy was familiar. At least costs 4 and is a 2/2 flyer. So at least it doesn't. And historic spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Historic spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Bleh.
There you go.
At least it costs 4. If it costs less than 4, I'd be like, So.
Also, it's totally the mechanical owl from Clash of the Titans.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because Joyra, so that makes sense, but...
Yeah.
And the flavor text is, you could say it was my pet project. Shut up.
But I just wanted to mention that real quick. What's another card?
Hey, Dirk, what you got?
One that I saw that made my gears grind, start spinning and everything, was in white. It's Quindi, Pride of Femerif.
How do you spell that?
Kwende.
Quende.
Hey.
Okay.
Quende.
Oh
There
yeah,
you go.
he was just previewed yesterday. And
So for 3 and a white, he's a 2/2 legendary creature, human knight, and he's uncommon. He has double strike. Creatures you control with first strike have double strike.
Damn!
yeah,
And the reason why my gear started spinning was all I have to do is get Valor in the graveyard.
Oh, dear God.
dear Lord, Dirk. I want to say bad, but good, but bad.
Bad, yeah.
That's a great idea, but boo.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's an uncommon. I love that some of the uncommon legends in this set don't feel. I mean, yes, they're not on the same level as some of the mythics and rares, but they don't feel bad. They don't feel like, oh, why is this a legend? You're like, oh, good lord.
Yeah, because some of the legendaries in like Kamigawa, like the uncommons, you were like,
Yeah, they were a little. There was kind of. That's
And I
cool.
mean, even here, you're going to get some that are better than others, but none of them feel
Mhm.
terrible, I don't think.
It's interesting. Like I saw someone, I can't remember who it was right now, on Facebook talking about how crazy how high the power level was for cards in the set. And I'd read that. I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe not exactly that, but the coolness factor.
oh,
I
dude,
think
it's through
when
the
Chewie and I were
roof.
talking about it yesterday, the sweetness factor is off
Yeah,
the charts.
Yeah,
it is
I agree
completely
completely.
insane.
Yeah, buddy.
Like, while we're in white, Adamant Will, the very first card.
Yep.
Uh,
Talk about a combat trick.
yeah, for 1 and a white, it's a common instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Fine, whatever. But the art and the flavor text. The art is one of those stained glass looking shields like Lyra Dawnbringer has.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's a knight holding it up and a sword shattering on it. And the flavor text is, the shield took a year to craft, a month to enchant, a decade to master, all for one glorious moment. And I read that and I was like, this set is the best set ever.
Well, if we want to talk about flavor text wins, I saw this preview and I was like, oh, and for reasons that I think will be very apparent, I think Mike should take it. It's going back to artifacts, but it's at the top of the artifacts. It's the equipment in the first row at the top.
Yup.
Oh, Black Blade Reforged. So for 2 mana, it's a rare legendary artifact. It's an equipment. So I'll read these in opposite order. So it has equip 7. It has equip legendary creature 3. And the
That's
Oh,
equipped
so
creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control.
Oh,
Good old
Yes.
Dakin Blackblade.
Yeah.
I know Mike has always loved him some Dakin Blackblade. And then just as we were talking about with Imbolus's clutches, there are some serious benefits to being a legendary creature in this set.
Mhm.
But now the flavor text.
Yeah. It spilled the blood of one Elder Dragon. In Gideon's hands, it may yet taste another's.
Oh, dude, Dakin Blackblade,
Just badass.
like, long ago, before we had magic novels and whatnot, all you had was the card and the art, right?
Yes.
Here, you guys.
And he had flavor text too, didn't he?
Did he?
Do.
Oh, he
Yeah,
did.
Gatherer.
He says, my power is as vast as the plains, my strength is that of mountains. Each wave that crashes upon the shore thunders like blood in my veins. And that's attributed to Dakin Blackblade, Memoirs. And yeah, he's he costs what, 6?
6.
For a legend who has power and toughness each equal to the number of lands you control. 2, a white, 2 blue, and a black.
Yeah. So he's neither of the colors that would actually have this ability nowadays.
Yeah, but like, just from that, he was like everyone's favorite card.
Because he's awesome.
Like, look at the art. I just gave you guys an image of one of the like wallpapers that Magic did. where they blew up the art nice and big. He's so badass. And then we had Corlash in Future Sight.
Yeah, heir to Blackblade.
Who was still awesome.
Yeah.
And now we get the Black Blade, and it's still awesome.
I'm gonna go ahead and read just a little bit from the from actually this week's story article where they're talking about they've just interrogated a Cabal member, and they had taken certain memories out of him, and they were trying to figure out how to attack Belzenlock. And Gideon says, "The Black Blade?" He asked, "What's that?" "It's a famous magical weapon," Jory explained. She was sitting across from him, nursing a cup of warmed wine. "It killed an elder dragon." "That was encouraging." "Which one?" Gideon asked. "Piru, I think," Shauna said, taking a seat next to him. "Never heard of him," he told her. Shauna inclined her head. "Exactly."
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting. Gideon actually says when Liliana explains this blade drinks souls, so it's absorbed the soul of an elder dragon. It will do the job. Gideon's like, "Oh, I can't use that weapon, but because it's against my principles." But clearly, in the flavor text here, it's at least hinted that maybe he's going to come around. Maybe.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep.
Listen, meathead.
Shut up and use the sword.
Well, there's one card that I just saw that I think is going to be a interesting topic of discussion.
Okay. What's that?
Daragaz reincarnated.
Oh my god, Dirk, get out of my head.
Yes.
So for 4 black, red, green, it's a legendary creature dragon that is mythic. It's a 7/7 with flying, trample, and haste. If Daragaz reincarnated would die, instead exile it with 3 egg counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Daragaz is exiled with an egg counter on it, remove an egg counter from it. Then, if Daragaz has no egg counters on it, return it to the battlefield.
It's almost suspend, except you don't cast him.
Yeah, it really is like it's suspend, except it happens when your creature dies.
Yeah. So you do
And
have
then
to
you
pay,
get to do it all over again.
and it has built-in haste. So yeah, and trample.
So
The only downside to this is that you have to pay 7 mana to play it in the first place.
I mean, you don't.
For a
Ooh.
7/7 with crazy ability.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to, but if you did, that's fine.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm sure.
hey, Mike,
Yes.
who is Dargaz? For those of us that are, or for those listening that are not old.
Daragaz was one of the big badass dragons that were protectors of Dominaria in Invasion Block and fought against the Phyrexians during the invasion.
Apologies, listeners. There was some sort of technical difficulty here, and I lost about 25 seconds of audio for seemingly no reason. Hey, let's pick up 25 seconds later, shall we?
For those
Shards.
those shards.
Yeah.
And revealed X number of cards from your hand that all shared that color and got that effect. I think he was like deal damage equal to the number of red cards in your hand or something like that.
They were they worked in a related way. They didn't all work exactly the same way.
Yeah.
But yeah, he dealt damage based on cards in hand. I think it was based on cards in your opponent's hand.
Oh, that might be. Rith was one of the famous ones that actually saw some tournament play where
You could
saps.
some of them depended on some of them depended on the number of permanents on the battlefield of that color. Just a second.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so whenever Daragaz the Igniter deals combat damage to a player, blah blah blah. If you do choose a color, then that player reveals his or her hand, and Daragaz deals damage to the player equal to the number of cards of that color revealed this way.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you choose a color. And
Yeah,
then
you
punch it.
chose a
Yeah.
color and it
That's
did
right.
something. Like Dromar, you chose a color and it bounced all the stuff of that color, which is kind of
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Croesus made them discard the cards of that color. Treva gave you life, and I can't
Rith.
remember.
Rith made saps.
And
Yeah.
Rith gave you sap life
Like
based
all
on
the saps in the world.
based on the permanents you controlled of that color.
Yeah.
No.
Wait.
For each
What?
permanent of that color.
Oh God.
How did
Gee.
you not just, after the
Hey.
first time, you just say green? forever.
Well, yeah, you do.
You probably say it every time because then, yeah, Rith I think actually made its way into some tournament decks. So.
Yeah, Rith is it's why Kibler is the Dragon Master.
Yes.
Because of Rith the Awakener. So yeah.
Well, if we're gonna talk about Dargaz reincarnated, we need to go just 2 down and to the right and talk about Primeval's Glorious Rebirth.
Yes, another legendary sorcery.
Yep. So Primeval's Glorious Rebirth for 5, a white, and a black. Pretty sure this art is depicting the dragons returning, unless I'm mistaken.
Maybe not now. I think in the past when they were called up to defend Dominaria.
Okay. That's true because the legendary sorceries do in fact depict historical moments, not necessarily current ones. That's a good point. Legendary sorcery, rare. Return all legendary permanent cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. All of them.
Centuries ago, 5 dragons conquered death to rule the living. Who are these primevals?
Oh, right, the Primevals. Yeah, those are the 5. That's right, because each one of them is also some aspect of the Ur-Dragon.
Yeah.
So that's isn't the invasion dragons.
No, yeah, this is Dargaz and Croesus and Rith and Dromar and Treva.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So legendary permanents now includes planeswalkers.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
This seems really good.
That's why this
nowadays
costs 7
several enchantments and a bunch of lands.
That's why it costs 7 and requires a legendary creature or planeswalker on the board, because it's kind of stupid.
It's kind of dumb. Whew.
Oh, did you guys happen to notice the Voltaic Servant?
Yes, I did.
Like, the card itself is whatever, a 2-mana 1/3 construct. At the beginning of your end step, untap target artifact. But his hand... Mike, what's his hand?
It appears to be a Voltaic Key.
Yup, what did Voltaic Key do?
Untap an artifact.
And the flavor text is, a missing piece in search of a puzzle. And that is so sick.
What's the flavor text on Voltaic Key?
Wait a minute, is that a broken down Thrawn Dynamo in the background?
I think it is, actually.
That's funny.
Because what did you untap with Voltaic Key?
Silly stuff.
Like Thrawn Dynamo.
The flavor text on Voltaic Key is the missing piece to every puzzle.
Yup.
Thought that sounded familiar.
Oh, wow. I forgot.
Isn't that so... There's all kinds of just little things like that. Go to
the card right.
Looking at Thrax, Thromax.
You're looking
Voltaic Servant.
Traxos.
Traxos.
Look, it's bad when Brian can pronounce a card, Dirk.
Okay. Well, how about Thrawn Temporal Gateway? Because
damn.
I notice sometimes we say Thrawn and Thran, and we're not consistent.
Nope. Let's keep that up.
I do that on purpose.
Okay.
So yeah, what's the gateway?
Thrawn Temporal Gateway costs 4. So legendary artifact costs, and it's cost rare. It's a rare. You can pay 4 and tap it to put a historic permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. just straight up. Yeah, it costs 8 to do it in the same turn you play it, but the portal opens not to the past, but from it. Those who step through discover an unimaginable future. Welcome to the future. You may notice the world is not as you remember it. We do, in fact, have flying cars. Chewie, did you see Cabal Stronghold?
Cabal, is that the land?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the fixed
coffers.
Cabal coffers, yeah.
Yes.
Fixed, meaning not completely insane. Cabal Stronghold, taps for colorless mana. Yes. Or pay 3 and tap to add a black for each basic swamp you control.
Yeah, so it is the fixed Cabal coffers. But at least this is one that if you play it early, you can actually tap it for mana. Because Cabal coffers
doesn't tap for mana, right?
No.
Unless you have Urborg out.
Yeah, it only has the one ability, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, once you have enough swamps, it's fantastic. But in the, turn 1, turn 2...
Yeah, when your opening hand is 3 lands, but those 3 lands are swamp, Cabal coffers, you're like, damn it! Because that third land does nothing. So yeah, Cabal Stronghold is sick. It's not broken. It's just sick. By the way, I don't think we've mentioned it on the show. The enemy colored. Are these the buddy lands?
That's what
we have not mentioned them.
Yeah, they're back. God Almighty, Clifftop Retreat, Hinterland Harbor, Isolated Chapel, Sulphur Falls, and Woodland Cemetery. So nice. Oh my god!
Buddy land.
Wait, what?
I like you said buddy lands.
Is that what we called them?
I think that's what we called them. Yeah.
Like the Czech lands were the ones that looked in your hand, right? Or fast land. See, we've had so many names for these damn things I can't remember. But these are the ones that enter the battlefield tapped unless you control a basic of the proper colors. So Woodland Cemetery, for instance, is the black-green one. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a swamp or a forest, and it taps for black or green. But did you guys see the flavor text on Woodland Cemetery?
No.
They never found the body of young Jozu or that of his murderous sister. And that's attributed to the fall of the House of Ves, which is apparently a story or a history book or something about that. That's so cool.
So people thought Liliana killed her family and disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Who are all the heroes in the memorials to? Like, the war is not a chroma.
That's Corona.
That's Corona.
Oh my god, that's Corona!
Yeah, the memorial to war. The memorial to unity is Eladamri.
Eladamri, yeah, from Eladamri's Call. Yeah.
The memorial to glory, that's Gerard.
That's Gerard, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The memorial to genius is Urza. And the memorial to folly is another pair of statues. I think that's another pair of statues of Gerard and Urza.
It is.
And that's outside the martyrs, too.
Yeah, there was actually an article that covered all of these. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and it's interesting how each one depicts each person. In the Memorial to Genius, that's Urza, and it's carved out of the mountains at one of the Talarian academies. There's now like several campuses, and it's giant, and it kind of looms over it, so you can kind of feel his presence. And the depiction of each one in each art is kind of significant. And you look at Memorial to Folly, and clearly this is more of thinking about the actions of Urza and how really Urza was fairly careless with individual human lives and just in his pursuit of the greater good. So for all the people that perished because Urza just was thinking of the big picture, they're kind of ridiculed here.
Dude, that's Corona.
That is Corona.
I can't even right now.
Well, the one thing I like in the art, Isolated Chapel, that's Mount Saint Michel.
Is it?
Yeah, it looks like that, doesn't it?
Like, it literally looks like Mount Saint Michel.
Hang on. Yeah, this one. Images. Wow, that is close. I think Mont Saint Michel might have been a reference here.
Inspiration. A serious reference.
Because I mean, it's not exact, but it's wow. Good eye, Dirk.
That's a good call.
Wow. Okay, now I'm just flipping back and forth in two tabs. Like, dude. So yeah, by the way, the memorials, we haven't mentioned what these are. There's one of each color, they enter battlefield tapped, and they have an ability.
Yeah.
Do what?
They're uncommon.
And they're all uncommon. They enter the battlefield tapped, they tap for the appropriate color, and then they have an ability. The memorial to folly is 2 and a black, tap and sacrifice it. They all have some mana cost, tap and sack. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. Memorial to Genius, 4 and a blue, tap and sack, draw 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah. Glory, 3 and a white, tap and sack, get 2 soldiers.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Still don't have a race. It's just
soldiers, yeah.
Sure.
Have we
raise the alarm.
Where are the tokens? Oh, did you guys see the tokens? Oh, wait, let me finish the memorials.
I did.
Unity for 2 a green, tap and sack. Look at the top 5 cards. Reveal a creature from among them, put it in your hand, and the rest on the bottom in a random order.
It's useful.
Yeah, for 2 and a green, that is good. And then war is 4 and a red, tap and sack, destroy target land. Because of course it is, because Corona was a dick.
Yeah, because she was kind of the living embodiment of magic on Dominaria. People fought for her without even really thinking about what they were doing. She was an unwitting embodiment of chaos. So
it did not even hit me that was Corona until you mentioned it. I was like, oh, it's Corona. What? Like
the nod, the fact that they so many times with some of these products, you're afraid that the company, whether it's a card game or a computer game or whatever, basically ignores its own history or rewrites it. And all of the respectful nods to these things over the last 25 years, and specifically on Dominaria, are just amazing. They just did such a good job.
Yeah, there's so much good stuff. Here's one that I'm almost certain that some of our listeners missed. Check out Pardic Wanderer, you guys.
Yeah.
The card itself is simple. A 6-mana 5/5 common golem with trample. Right? No problem.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, read the flavor text.
Flavor text says, it's an excerpt from a Tolarian Field Dispatch. It says, to the head of archaeological findings. The excavation schedule at dig site 93 beta must be revised. Part of the site has walked off.
So that's cute, right?
Yes.
But then, hey, Mike, what year did Magic start?
1993.
Yeah.
93 beta.
I missed that.
Must be
revised.
Oh my God.
Yup. It's that tiny, tiny little thing. That flavor text works beautifully if you don't catch that. Like I was explaining, Mom really enjoyed Ready Player One, even though she missed all of the fan service call-outs. Not all of them, but most of them, But she still enjoyed the movie. This flavor text works just like Ready Player One. If you just read that, you're like, part of the site walked off. It's a big-ass golem. That's funny. And then 93 beta must be revised. Oh, come on. It's just that extra layer of a nod to those of us that are old and paying attention.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, I love it. Okay, I've talked myself to death. Somebody else talk about cards.
Well, I could talk about all these forever. I want to go to green for a minute because there's some amazing stuff here. And before I even get to some other stuff, there are 2 reprints here that I think are really interesting.
Thorn Elemental.
Thorn Elemental at uncommon. At uncommon.
Look at that art, though. He's so badass.
And Verdant Force.
Look at that art, though. It's so badass.
Thorn Elemental and Verdant Force. Back again. Just, I mean, these are cards that I didn't even start playing until, Onslaught. And still, these cards were kind of almost had an epic quality in our group because you played them. Verdant Force was amazing because it was one of the first cards I really saw that actually taught you how good some things could be in multiplayer. Wait, I get one of these every player's turn? That's crazy. And then Thorn Elemental, just at uncommon. Just, okay, this is a crazy world we live in. Yeah,
when I saw Darken's art for Thorn Elemental, I just sort of stared at it with my jaw hanging open. I'm like, that's pretty.
But what I actually want to talk about, we actually haven't covered all the sagas. And Mike, what do you think of the Mending of Dominaria?
Oh, wait, I didn't see
Mending
this.
of Dominaria.
It's
pretty
green.
cool. It scroll. It nope, not yet. Dang it, there it is.
Math is easy. Alphabet is hard.
Yeah. It's a rare saga. And it costs 5, 3 green. And it's one of those where 2.
Oh no, not again. Come on, Mike's internet. Well, he'll be back in a minute. So hey, alphabet's hard, huh? Oh, I see the mute symbol on my screen.
Yeah, he muted. He muted, so now he just needs to...
Maybe he can't see it on his screen yet. Oh, hey, look, a mammoth spider. Just kill me. Like, that art is actually going to mess with me.
Read the flavor text on Mammoth Spider.
Okay, it's a 3/5 reach for 4 and a green, by the way. It's common.
Yeah.
Most spiders of Llanowar disdain elvish alliances. No elf has as many beautiful eyes or as many strong arms. Oh, come on, man.
Yeah. They're vain. They're vain. More vain than elves.
I don't
they're
like it.
spiders.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
And all the details on the pinchers and the eyes, it's just
Dude,
creepy.
shut up. Shut up. I'll come
Mike,
to your
are you
house,
back
poke you in the eye.
Okay.
I miss
Well,
Mike.
I miss Mike too. But let's give him another say. Another fantastic reprint in green. Hey,
there he is.
Okay.
It wasn't unmuting, and then it disconnected me and reconnected me.
All right.
What a freaking horrible... I could hear you guys talking about the spider. I also was really impressed with the flavor text on the mammoth spider.
Cool. All right.
Okay, so
you
the
were
mending.
telling us the mending.
Yeah, it's another one of these where two of the chapters are the same thing. So chapters 1 and 2 say put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand.
Self-mel.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Chapter 3 says return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, then shuffle your graveyard into your library.
Holy crap, that's cool.
Wow.
And you know what it
Very
doesn't
cool.
say is tapped.
Tapped, yeah.
It costs 5, by the way. 3 and 2 green. I think you got cut off in all that. So
Okay.
yeah. I love this card. Specifically, I love it for Mike because he can self-mill, and then at the end of the day, it gets shuffled back in, so he doesn't deck himself, Mike. So,
Fine.
but yeah, this seems really strong with anything that is putting your own stuff into the graveyard. Think about how well this works. If nothing else, think about how well this works with the memorials.
Okay,
Yeah.
question.
Okay.
So, sacrifice this. Does it go to the graveyard and then get shuffled in, or does the library and graveyard get shuffled in and then this goes to the graveyard?
I can't remember what the release notes said.
My gut would be because this ability is on the stack, this will
I'm
only
thinking it's
go
the
to the
latter.
graveyard. It will only go to the graveyard once the last ability is done resolving.
Right.
So this would
right.
be the only thing in your graveyard. That's my gut. But
Hang on, I'm
That's what I'm
searching.
thinking is supposed to happen.
Wait,
Because essentially that means it's a never-ending, replenish.
wait, what's this card called?
The Mending of Dominaria.
Okay, it's not in the release notes.
Well, I
by
mean,
name.
I can't remember what the release notes said about exactly how sagas work.
If counters are removed. Okay, once the number is greater than or equal to the greatest number, the Saga's controller sacrifices it as soon as its chapter ability has left the stack, most
Okay,
likely
yeah.
by resolving or being countered. So yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
So
So
you won't
Dirt
shuffle
Ladder.
it back in forever.
it'll be the thing that goes to your grave. It'll be the thing that's in your graveyard when everything is said and done.
Yeah, it'll be your new graveyard.
Until you play another one.
Neat.
Because like I said, it felt like a never-ending. Is it reshuffle, replenish?
Yeah. Sorry about all the system sounds you heard there, listeners. That was me hitting search on the word mending and it coming up nothing. And I'm like, what?
So I've suggested a lot of cards, so I will also take a break for a minute because I want to bust in with like 20 more, but I'm going to let somebody else go.
I'm butting in. Nature Spiral. Doesn't matter what it does. You see the art?
Yeah?
Yes.
Mhm.
It's a reclaimed strip mine.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Is that not insane?
Well, and the flavor text is from Antiquities.
Yeah.
So,
As Argoth's last... Let me try it again. As Argoth's last defenders fell to Urza's juggernauts, Titania said, nature cannot be destroyed, only changed. And the art is totally nature reclaiming a strip mine, like from the cards strip mine. I say cards because there are multiple arts on strip mine.
this is yet another reprint. Feels like Green got a lot of ones. Not that
It
there's
is a
anything wrong with
reprint,
that.
isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was originally from a core set, I think.
Yeah, I think it was from one of the post M10 core sets where they were introducing new cards.
Yeah. Sick. Hey, anybody want to read Multani? I haven't read him yet. Somebody read him to me.
Hey, Dirk, you like green stuff? That's not a recurring theme or anything.
Pigeonhole, typecast.
Moltani. Okay. Moltani Yawgmoth's avatar. Or
Yavamaya's.
Yavamaya's avatar.
Little
My
difference there.
That's something else.
There's too many Ys.
Heel
So,
turn.
4 and 2 green. He's a legendary creature, elemental avatar that's mythic, and he's a 0/0. Oh no, terrible. So he has reach and trample. Moltani Yavamaya's avatar gets +1/+1 for each land you control and each land card in your graveyard. For 1 and a green, return 2 lands you control to their owner's hand. Return Moltani from your graveyard to your hand.
Dude. He's like Commander Sickness, right? Like he's basically insane in Commander when you just have lots of land and someone blows up the world and you go, okay, and you get him back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just ridiculous.
Nice. He looks like he's lost some weight. I hope he's doing all right.
He's old.
He's kind of like had to rebuild his body once or twice.
Yeah,
so.
that's probably that, yeah.
Did you guys see when Mark Rosewater, I think on either Tumblr or it might have been Twitter, previewed Untamed Kavu?
No.
Okay, you need to read Untamed Kavu. It's in green.
Okay, for 1 and a green, it's a Kavu. Hey, it's a Kavu. Look at that. Kavus are back. It's an uncommon 2/2 with kicker 3. Okay, vigilance and trample, and if it was kicked, it enters with 3 +1/+1 counters on it.
It's a Kavu Titan with vigilance.
I was gonna say, wait a minute. So it's a 2/2 for 2 with vigilance and trample, or it's a 5/5 for 5 with vigilance and trample.
Yeah.
Damn, those are both really good.
It's a Kavu Titan with built-in vigilance.
I don't remember Kavu Titan.
It was all of this, but without vigilance.
And it was a rare from Invasion.
Oh god, it is a rare from Invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but it didn't have trample unless you kicked it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Huh. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I've still got Mont Saint Michel open here. Hang on, excuse me. Let me close that.
One that I saw, I'm gonna skip down to the multicolor real quick.
Do it.
Yeah.
Ariel, Knight of Wind Grace.
Yes.
For 2, a white and a black. Legendary creature, human knight, rare, 4/4 with vigilance. For 2 and a white, and tap. Create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. For black and tap X untapped knights you control. Destroy target creature with power X or less.
Hey, Dirk.
Yeah.
What is she writing?
She is riding a big old cat.
More specifically?
A black cat?
Yeah, she's riding a panther.
And
Wasn't
why is that?
Windgrace a panther guy?
He was a planeswalker, and he was a Panther Leonin, as far as we can tell.
Yes. Like I think he was from Urborg, and I think Poraj was also from Urborg too.
He
Since it's Paraj of Urborg, yeah, I think so.
He sacrificed himself He sacrificed himself in Time Spiral to close one of the time rifts. But right before he did, he put some of his essence into Urborg so that part of him would always stay with the land.
Oh,
if you go back up real quick to the Mending of Dominaria and look at that art and what's going on, you've got the world at the bottom, and then this tree, but carved into the tree are figures of planeswalkers that gave up their sparks, or otherwise, if they didn't give up their sparks, they at least sacrificed part of themselves. At the bottom, you've got Teferi, and then you've got Karn, who did seal one of the rifts, and you've got Lord Windgrace right there, and I think that's Freylis.
I was about to say, is that Freylis above them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yep.
And the way so that tree is still alive with this carving into it.
Well, remember, it's a saga, so the art itself is really kind of depicting a history of something.
Yeah, but I'm saying in that art, it's really cool that they've depicted this carving statue in a living tree.
Yes,
that's cool.
Yes. Yeah.
The thing with
Dominaria
it being a
lives
living
on.
tree is that if the tree's alive, that means it can grow higher and potentially add more heroes to it.
Ah, I see what you did there. I love this set. I'm dying here.
If you love that, have you read Mike? Have you read Rite of Belzenlock yet? It's another saga, and it's ridiculous.
Let's see.
That's black, right?
Yeah, that's in black.
Yeah, it's cool. The Rite of Belzenlock is a rare saga for 2 black. And in the art, it has some of those creepy singing skeleton men that we saw on another card. Dirge of Dread, I think. So, Chapter 1 and 2 create 2 0/1 black cleric creature tokens. So each one makes 2, so you'll get a total of 4 from the first 2 chapters. Chapter 3, create a 6/6 black demon creature token with flying, trample, and at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice another creature. If you can't, this creature deals 6 damage to you.
Oh my god, I saw that token and I was like, that's a really specific little mini Lord of the Pit token.
Mm-hmm.
Comes from Rite of Belzenlock. And it's like a slightly smaller Lord of the Pit.
But you get it from a saga that costs 4 mana. And this reminds me of, what was the old combo? What was the enchantment you could put on
Breeding
a
ground.
land?
Breeding
ground.
Breeding Pit?
Breeding
Pool.
Breeding Pit, yes.
Breeding Pit. This was like the Lord of the Pit and Breeding Pit combo in one nice little package where this goes ahead and gives you, hey, here's some little guys. You might want to sacrifice them.
Breeding Pit. The pool is the blue-green land. Right.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool.
That is really cool. So a quick side note here. There's a link in the show notes for everyone that is the tokens. And we've got 2 Knights with Vigilance, one of which by Tyler Walpole, who I think I saw on Twitter is his first Magic card art ever. And it's this insane stained glass knight.
Yeah.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah.
To be on a token.
Yeah.
And there's also the 1/1 soldier. We've got the weird bald clerics here from the Rite of Belzenlock. And the demon. That art is also really sick.
Yeah. I like how, and look, they both look like they're part of a mural or something. They're facing toward each other.
Yeah, with that same like circular sun thing behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's Jozu Zombie Knights, and possibly other things make it too, but what's the card that makes this nightmare horror? Because I haven't seen it.
Chainer's Torment.
I don't know, but I won't be sleeping well tonight.
Oh, Jesus. Don't look at the art for Chainer's Torment, then. Ugh.
Yeah, Chainer's Torment makes the...
Okay,
horror.
Chainer's Torment, for 3 and a black, is an uncommon saga. Chapter 1 and 2 deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. Hey! It's like a not broken Siphon Soul.
Yeah.
Because you only gain 2. You don't gain that much. So that's good. And then chapter 3 is create an XX black nightmare horror creature token, where X is half your life total rounded up. It deals X damage to you. Jesus! So it kicks you in the teeth, and then it's big.
Basically, yeah. And it makes this cute little puppy looking thing.
Yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. We've got...
we'll say that.
Yeah, we've got a Spark Elemental, the 3/1 Trample Haste Elemental. Wait, did the Spark Elemental it dies on at the end of your turn on it?
It does.
Yeah.
Okay,
This
so
doesn't have that.
This is just the 3/1 Trample Haste Elemental that things make.
Yeah.
A goblin sitting in a catapult wearing extremely spiky armor. That makes me happy on multiple levels. Another red one there that we're going to talk about in a second now that I've seen it. 3 different Sapperling arts, all of which are oddly like disturbing and cute at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess the middle one is specific to Slimefoot.
Oh, and look, it's on the Weatherlight. So.
Huh. We've got Karn's Construct token, and then Jaya and Teferi's emblems.
Yeah.
So yeah, the art on these all of these have really good art.
Yeah. So you mentioned
I think the construct art is a callback to Beast of Burden, and the original Beast of Burden also looked a lot like Karn.
Oh my god, I think you're right.
Because Karn was based on that same model that Urza was working on.
Yeah.
The original Beast of Burden. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like a cross between the original and the updated Beast of Burden art.
Oh wait, no, this is the original. Wow, that does look like Karn.
Mm-hmm.
It does. It looks like a Karn prototype. You're right. And then yeah, the follow up, the new art in 7th, 8th, and 9th edition is, good eye, Mike. So many sweet callouts. The first thing I thought was, oh look, it's a soldier from XCOM.
So you mentioned the red token.
Yeah, this is a thing that I hadn't seen until Monday Night Magic, and Bill pointed it out to me, and I was like, neat. So what? Somebody tell us about that. Is it red?
It's red.
It's not multicolored. Okay, that'd be why I can't.
Varix is the dragon's name.
Yeah, well, then get him, Mike.
All right, Varix Bladewing costs 2 red for a 4/4 dragon with flying. It's mythic, and it has kicker 3. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create. I like the way this is written. Create Karox Bladewing, a legendary 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. It's not create a legendary named
blah blah blah
named Karox. Yeah.
It says create this guy. Oh, and this is what he is, but make him.
Oh, that's neat.
And of course, these are the ancestors of Rorik's Bladewing.
You might have that the other way around.
These are the descendants of Rorik's Bladewing. Sorry. I apologize.
So yeah, we had Rorik's Bladewing, then we had damn it, I had to look him up on Monday Night Magic too. What's his name?
I don't remember.
It started with the Risen?
Well, yeah, then we had Bladewing the Risen because Rorik's died.
Oh, the one from Future Sight.
The one from Future Sight. Was it Terox?
Maybe.
Isn't that the guy we just got in the artifacts? No, that's Traxos.
Jesus. Too many X's. Too many X's. Anyone looking that up?
Yeah, Terox.
Yeah, it is Terox. Who was the one with Grandeur.
Yeah.
And now we've got Varix and Karox. Names in this family are very specific.
Yeah. So it's kind of an interesting take on like Brewmate Dragon, but they're 4/4s and legendary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, look at how buff this dragon is. Like, you can tell he skipped hind leg day, but every day is arm day. And look at this. Jesus. He looks like he's gonna like chomp on a cigar and spout one-liners while shooting hordes and hordes of bad guys. It's a Schwarzenegger reference. Anyway.
Get in the chopper?
Yeah, there we go.
Get in the chopper.
All right. Well, there's still sagas here, and I'm not saying we have to cover every single one, but they're all awesome. So I'm going to tell you a little story I call the Antiquities War.
Pew, pew. Because,
that was a thing. And here's the saga for the Antiquities War. For 3 and a blue, chapters 1 and 2 are both. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Chapter 3, artifacts you control become artifact creatures with a base power and toughness 5/5 until end of turn.
Oh my god, they all turn into giant scissors.
They all turn into giant scissors.
Wow, that's a really neat card.
Also, this is depicting, the war that Urza and Mishra fought against each other that ultimately culminated in Urza's Ruinous Blast. So, and kind of leveled at least one continent. They stripped a whole continent bare for, resources. It was bad. It was bad.
Wow, I want to see this art. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Let's check artofmtg.com. Dominaria, yes. Let's see. Sagas. Nope, that's the Eldest Reborn. Have we read that one yet?
No, we have not.
There's the Mirari Conjecture. Page 2.
We did talk about the Mirari Conjecture, correct? I feel like we did.
Yeah, I think so. Time of Ice, History Benelia. Nope, that art is not on Art of MTG. Damn. At least not that I can see.
I imagine the image in the middle is Urza Mishra, I guess, tearing apart the Might Stone and the Weak Stone. and causing all these problems?
Probably. I just love how the art is very evocative of early Magic. Something about the style of it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, the problem is if you search for Antiquities
Well, they got
War...
Mark Tedin to do it, so that makes sense.
There is that. If you search for Antiquities War MTG, because there was an entire book, I think, named that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
hard to find. Okay, wait. The Antiquities War MTG Dominaria. Crap, I don't think they've released a full look at the art yet, at least nowhere that Google has seen.
But you did mention the Eldest Reborn. So that is actually the very last saga we have yet to cover.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
We've
cool.
covered all the others.
Oh, someone read that, because I apparently can't read.
Well, for 4 and a black, it's an uncommon saga. First chapter, each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker.
Oh, geez.
Mm-hmm. Chapter 2, each opponent discards a card. And then chapter 3, put target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control.
From a graveyard.
Like one of the
From
things,
a graveyard.
like one of the things they either just sacrificed or discarded. Yeah.
Yeah.
This depicts the moment when Nicol Bolas is able to use Venser and Rada's new Neo Planeswalker Sparks to free himself from his millennia-old imprisonment. And initially, this isn't necessarily a bad thing because it's kind of all hands on deck when the time rifts are tearing Dominaria apart. And for part of Time Spiral, he's actually kind of, if not a good guy, he's not the worst of the bad guys. But, you know, short term.
He only kind of sucks.
Well, there were bigger problems. So it's kind of like at the time, it was Nicol Bolas himself was kind of a cool callback because he hadn't been around, and it was like, hey, here's this guy you haven't seen in forever. So this is him busting out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I found another saga that we didn't talk about.
All right, which one's that?
The Song of Freyalise.
Oh, did we not talk about that one? I thought we did, but let's go ahead and talk about it because I think you're right.
I think so, because I don't recognize it. For
Okay.
1 and a green, it's uncommon. Chapters 1 and 2 are both until your next turn. Creatures you control gain, tap, add 1 mana of any color. Everyone's a bird of paradise. Get 'em, get 'em, get 'em. And then chapter 3, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain Vigilance, Trample, and Indestructible until end of turn. So presumably you've used your extra mana from chapters 1 and 2 to throw out more dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So they all get bigger, and then for 1 turn, they're completely insane.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mini overrun type thing. Yeah.
Just with not as big and with vigilance and indestructible.
Yeah, and Indestructible. Yeah, it seems good. Seems fine. Yeah.
So it's fine to quote unquote overcommit.
And by that third chapter, either you're ready or you're not. And if you don't attack that turn, there is something really wrong with you.
Yeah, that means your
or you
opponent's...
just decide, I don't feel like it. I just want to waste this turn.
That means your opponent's built up and you would die on the backswing. No, because they have Vigilance. What? I like it. I like it a lot.
So the sagas are awesome. But you know what? You know what card I saw that really made me go, what? And then I read it and I'm like, what? And then the more I read it, the more I liked it. It's actually called Yargle.
All right, story time. Mike came over last night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before that, we went out to grab food. We had a burrito. We were sitting at Chipotle eating a burrito, and my phone went... I pulled it out, and it was Stark Maximum. And there were 2 messages. One was a link to a Wizard's Magic tweet, and the other was, in all caps, the word Yargle. And I'm like, oh, so... that means Wizards tweeted something that made Stark choke or drown, or so. I thought it was making a like Yargle, like a sound effect, because it seems like a thing Stark would do. And I opened it up and I hit the link and I was like, what has Wizards tweeted that has killed Stark? Oh, it's actually Yargle. What? So what is Yargle, Brian?
Hey, Dirk, what is Yargle?
Hey, Dirk, what's Yargle?
Yargle is a gluten of Urborg.
Glutton.
Glutton? I was
Yeah.
thinking gluten.
No,
He is not gluten-free.
He's the low-fat version.
That's something
He's
else.
the healthy version.
I think he's getting ready to eat a horse, so no.
Jesus.
So for 4 and a black, he's a legendary frog spirit that's uncommon, and he's a 9/3.
I read this card and I'm like, what's going on with this art? And then I'm like, why does it have no actual like game text? And I saw, oh, it's a 9/3, and I'm like, why is it a frog spirit? I don't understand. But read the flavor text.
When Belzeloc's lieutenant Yar Kol grew too ambitious, the demon lord transformed him into a maggot. The frog then ate the maggot, grew and grew until a ravenous spirit burst from its body.
So note to self: don't turn your demon lieutenants into maggots. Because I think now they have a bigger problem.
Legendary frog spirit. I feel like so many boxes are being checked here.
Yeah, this was on the board in R&D. Like, I bet you won't.
I can't wait for some dare I say it, asshole to complain that this is yet another example of R&D doing representation for representation's sake.
Oh, Brian, I love you.
Oh, you're welcome. So that made me really happy. But so did seeing Knight of Malice, because we called it back when they put out the mechanics article.
Yeah, you even got the name right.
Did we?
You did.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ah, well, that's just me being good. So Knight of Malice, for 1 and a black, it's a 2/2 first strike, human knight, uncommon, hexproof from white, and he gets +1/+1 as long as any player controls a white permanent.
+1/+0.
+1/+0, thank you. So he's the image, he's the mirror image of the Knight of Grace. And the art is, they're literally mirroring off against each other. You know what I actually really like is apparently white and black are the knight colors here because they both work well with Ariel, Knight of Windgrace. So, yeah.
But like,
sweet.
Knight and Malice were... Not Knight. Grace and Malice were used in older sets as the two, like, words that were opposite of each other, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So... Not to diminish Brian calling it, but he didn't just pick that name out of the air. Like, it's a name that means something, and I'm really glad that Wizards went with it.
Yeah.
Although looking at all of the stuff that they've went with in this set, there was really no doubt, I guess, was there?
No, but when it was one of the first cards we saw.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's an interesting callback in the artifact section.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So, Blood Tallow Candle. Does that look familiar at all?
The way that the middle of it around the mouth looks kind of distinctive.
Is that like the Skull of Orm?
No. Here, I'll show you something. And this other card was done by a different artist. I actually thought this was a reprint before I was able to find this original card.
Oh my god!
Didn't make sense to me.
Wow!
Yeah, Blood Tallow Candle. It's a callback to Profane Memento, and what the cards do don't matter as much. But the flavor text from Profane Memento, it says an angel's skull is left too plain by death. I made a few aesthetic modifications. That's a quote from some blood artist, and it shows a gilded skull and an angel feather and some creepy-looking little candle lights. And then in the art for Blood Tallow Candle, there's actually a bloody candle sitting on top of the skull, and it looks like someone's using it to burn an angel feather. And the flavor text says, "Bring me an angel feather, and I will give you 1 death in return. There can be no turning back once the candle is lit."
How in
That's
the
a cool-
blue hell did you find that?
He's
the
nice.
art,
It's Mike.
He's
yeah,
nice.
I mean, the art looks so distinctively familiar. And then after I thought about it for a while, the word memento came to mind, and that's how I was able to find it.
By the way, that's Profane Memento, listeners, is an uncommon from M15.
Yeah.
Just, out of the blue there. Mike,
Not
you're a damn legend, Mike.
It's very distinctive art.
So what does the blood tallow candle actually do?
So it costs 1, and you pay 6 and tap and sacrifice it. Target creature gets -5/-5 until end of turn.
So it's a historic trigger that later in the game is a murder spell.
You got it.
Yeah, and we've seen unwieldy artifact-based kill spells before.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Here it's a little more important because of the historic stuff.
Yeah. What do you think of the card next to it?
It's
Jesus.
funny. Oh crap, that's uncommon.
Yeah.
You didn't pick up on that?
No, I missed that part. I just assumed it was rare because most prison cards are.
Yeah.
Gosh. So Damping Sphere costs 2. It's an uncommon artifact. Oof. So if a land is tapped for 2 or more mana, it produces a single colorless mana instead of any other type and amount. And each spell a player casts costs 1 more to cast for each other spell that player has cast this turn.
So take it, fast mana and storm decks. Just, basically this says you have to destroy this first before you do any shenanigans. But if a deck is not running artifact removal and is trying to do some of these really bad things, how many times is a card going to catch people off guard when you forget about that second ability, especially when you consider it affects the owner of the sphere as well?
Yeah. That's going to be the most problematic part.
So
Hey,
So hey, Dirk, it's getting late. So are there any cards that you just desperately need us to talk about?
I've sort of been running through everything, and for me, I feel like we've gone over all the big stuff that I looked at and
there's one card. There's one card that we didn't get to last week, and I was like, we have to talk about this. I think it will appeal to you. So
Okay.
while we're in the artifacts, why don't you read Helm of the Host?
Helm of the Host. For 4, it's a legendary artifact equipment that is rare. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of equipped creature, except the token isn't legendary. If equipped creature is legendary, that token gains haste. Equip for 5 colorless.
And what does it not say? Sacrifice this.
Holy crap,
Yeah,
it doesn't!
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
It
you guys
does
didn't realize that?
My brain just inserted it!
That
Holy
didn't click with
crap!
me. Like, I noticed that you didn't have to attack with the equipped creature to get the token, but I didn't notice that you could keep the token.
That's
Yeah.
the name, the host.
You just keep getting more of them.
Oh my
Or-
god, the flavor text. Forged out of flowstone for the Queen of Vesuva. Really?
Yeah.
Vesuva, remember, is the clone land.
So I really wanted to bring this up last week, and we just had too much other amazing stuff. But yeah, I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh, wait, oh, I don't have to exile this at the end of the turn. I don't have to sacrifice the token, and oh my god, you just get tokens forever. This is why it costs 4 to play and 5 to equip.
Yes.
Mhm.
But shenanigans everywhere.
Well, I will say this: if this comes onto the board, I am very curious to see what the competitive play field is going to look like.
I
Because
think
with so many legendaries that are there, and with so many great abilities, it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. So, do you have anything else you want to talk about, or are you heading out?
There's a green
heading
card that
out.
I really thought Dirk would like, but now I can't find it. Damn it.
Most of them.
Most of the... Oh, it was the Allosaurus.
Oh yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
dinosaur.
I love the Allosaurus.
Oh, okay. Hey, Mike, real quick, before Dirk leaves, what's Territorial Allosaurus?
All right. So, what if Ravenous Chupacabra was a 5/5? So, Territorial Allosaurus costs 2 green for a 5/5 dinosaur, which is tribally relevant nowadays. It has kicker of 2 and a green, and when it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, it fights another target creature.
Come at me, bro.
Rawr.
And the flavor text.
A living remnant of the Ice Age.
Oh. Isn't that where Pygmy Allosaurus came from? Was that
Yeah,
Ice
that was
Age?
Pygmy Allosaurus. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2/2 with Swamp Walk.
This one is not a pygmy.
Not so much,
No.
no. Word. Well, hey, Dirk, you have any final thoughts before you bounce for the evening?
Having gone through the card image gallery and everything, I'm seriously looking at this being the first time in
Ever?
God, it was
Forever?
probably Ravnica last block.
Return to Ravnica?
No,
Original
original
Ravnica?
Ravnica block. What was the third block?
The third set was Dragon's Maze.
No, that was
No.
Return to Ravnica.
Original Ravnica.
Dissension.
Dissension was the last time I had bought a booster box.
Oh.
Really?
And I'm seriously thinking about getting a booster box.
Here I was hoping that he was going to say that he was maybe going to
the pre-release? Yeah, I was hoping that too.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, time is not equal to money in this regard. So,
Understood.
but it's been forever since I had bought a booster box, and with as many amazing cards as this, and because we are returning to Dominaria, I'm hopefully putting into place things so that I can purchase a booster box, and be able to then assemble some additional new decks and revamp some decks and everything with the stuff that's coming out.
Nice.
Which means that in the not too distant future, we all will also need to set up a time for us to get together and play again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's something we should do relatively soon.
Imagine that. Yeah, because I got to bring you these 2 maps.
Mm-hmm.
Although I can just do that anytime.
So you guys
so.
need to help me find a place on my wall where I can.
Right?
So, but yeah, that's my final thoughts for this week. So with that
Sweet.
being said, I am gonna bounce.
Well, have a good night, my friend.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right.
We have been oddly lax on red tonight.
Yeah. I mean,
I
there's a
think
lot of
that's
great
just-
stuff in there. Just
I think that's just coincidence.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's some cool stuff in here. Like Champion of the Flame makes me want to jump up and down and wave my arms.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
What's that,
yes.
Mike?
So for 1 and a red, it's an uncommon human warrior. It's a 1/1 with trample.
Yeah.
Champion of the Flame gets +2/+2 for each aura and equipment attached to it.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Holy crap. So it's a rabid wombat that likes weapons, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And has trample.
And has trample, yeah.
Thank you.
And I couldn't help. I started looking around for stuff to put on it, and I came to a common enchantment in red. So I said, okay, so Frenzied Rage for 1 and a red. It's a common aura. Enchant creature gets +2/+1 and has menace. So if you take Frenzied Rage,
Oh,
you
God.
put it on here, and you've got a 5/4 with trample
Yeah.
and menace.
Yeah, it's actually +4/+3 in menace.
Wow, 5/4 with trample and menace for all
For-
4 mana. That seems good.
For 1 uncommon and 1 common.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a
And-
thing that's going to happen at a pre-release.
That's going to be turn 2 and turn 3.
Yeah, that makes me want to try. A partially red-based Boggles deck again for a modern deck.
Nice.
Remember, I tried one a year or 2 ago that was basically a modern rehash of the Jeskai colored one that I played in
Oh, yeah.
Return to Ravnica Innistrad Standard for a period of time. But Yeah, this guy makes it again more interesting
You know,
because
I
there's
find-
lots of there's lots of slightly too cheap blue and red and white auras.
There was one white legendary enchantment aura, and I'm trying to find it, that made me go, huh.
Did you say
On-
white?
Yes, on Sarah's wings. Because it was a
Yes.
legendary enchantment.
Mm.
It's uncommon for 3 and a white. Legendary enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchant creature is legendary. It's +1/+1 and has flying, vigilance, and lifelink.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Does cost 4. And usually with Boggles decks, you want everything to cost as little as possible because you don't want to commit too much to one thing. You want to be really aggressive. I mean, Arcane Flight, the flying cat, is a single blue for a +1/+1 and flying. So
Yeah.
that's pretty ridiculous. You know what I really like? Speaking of another aura, but this is not one you'll ever want to put on your own creature. I almost talked about this card so much at the beginning when we were dancing all around it, but at some point we moved away. Was Deep Freeze. Chewy, have you seen Deep Freeze?
I saw the art. I didn't. That's all though.
Well, go ahead and tell us what it does.
2 and a blue, common enchant creature aura. Enchanted creature has base power and toughness 0/4, has defender, loses all other abilities, and is a blue wall. Jeez. In addition to its other colors and types.
Keep going.
Flavor text is, for cryomancers, studying the Ice Age isn't just an academic exercise. Oh, nice.
I like how they've left the goblet's face and like foot and elbow poking out of this thing.
So let's see. Ooh. Goblins. So I mentioned last week that freaking, what's his name? Siege Gang Commander was reprinted.
Yes. Ready, fire.
Exactly. They also reprinted Goblin War Chief,
Yes.
which
Yes.
I said on Monday Night Magic there because Clues knew he'd seen it in the release notes, but he also got it and the Chieftain confused in his head,
Mm-hmm.
and I hadn't seen in the release notes, what was being reprinted. So Clues was really confused about what the hell he was talking about. And he's like, "Was it the War Chief?" I'm like, "Nah, they're never gonna reprint that." The next day, the day that Siege Gang Commander was previewed, they showed Goblin War Chief on top of it, and I was like, "Really?" We also have the Chain Whirler. Have you guys seen the Chain Whirler?
He's cool. He's part of a cycle of a rare in each color with 3, where the cost is 3 colored mana.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, what's he do then?
So his thing is he's a 3/3 Goblin Warrior with first strike, and when he enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control.
Yeah.
So cool.
Pretty cool for 3 mana. So that's the red one.
I was going to say they also reprinted Skirk Prospector, which is a little frightening
They did.
Yes, they did.
because that can get ridiculous.
Yes,
that
it
might be
can.
more than a little frightening.
Yeah. For 1 red mana, it's a 1/1 goblin. Its ability says sacrifice a goblin, add a red.
Now, at least damage doesn't use the stack anymore.
Thank goodness.
So,
I like this flavor text. Deep beneath the ruined continent of Otaria, there's a mine where goblins still work, ignorant of the destruction above.
that's just perfect.
What else for goblins?
We covered the triple green guy in Steel Leaf Champion
Oh, Goblin Barrage.
because he's a promo. Is Goblin Barrage a reprint? I thought it was.
No.
No?
I
Okay.
don't think
No.
so. Goblin Bar.
Goblin Bar. Oh,
Must not be. I got Goblin Bombardment when I searched for that, so yeah.
okay.
Goblin Barrage for 3 and a red is an uncommon sorcery. It deals 4 damage to target creature. It has a kicker of sacrifice an artifact or goblin. And so if you kick it, it also deals 4 damage to target player or planeswalker. So that's fun. There
That
was
guy-
another goblin.
That guy just looks ready to, get to it.
Yeah, he's like,
just like-
woohoo! Cut the rope! I thought there was... Oh, it's the first one. Okay, the Bloodstone Goblin. 1 in a red, 2/2 common. Whenever you cast a spell, if that spell was kicked, then the goblin gets +1/+1 in menace until end of turn. But he's a 2/2 for 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's
3/3
a nice...
menace, that's good.
Yeah, he's a nice normal goblin, and if you happen to kick something, he becomes a 3/3 with menace, which, yeah, that's pretty good. The stone whispers tales of darkness and fire. She replies, "Tell me more." Huh. Blood from a stone? Tell me more? Anyway.
Yeah.
So we talked about the 3 green one. That's the steel something.
Before we leave red entirely, there was another card that I tried so hard to figure out what was going on, and then I realized, oh, okay. Haphazard Bombardment. It's a weird card. But check this out. Haphazard Bombardment. For 5 in a red is an enchantment. It's a red rare enchantment. So that should tell you
God.
When it enters the battlefield, choose 4 non-enchantment permanents you don't control and put an aim counter on each of them. At the beginning of your end step, if 2 or more permanents you don't control have an aim counter on them, destroy one of those permanents at random.
Oh my god, so you pick 4 targets and then 2 of them will die.
2 of them will die.
That's
3 of them will
great. Wait, if 2 or more permanent. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So only one of them will escape unscathed.
And of course, if you play more haphazard bombardments, more aim tokens, more aim
Yes.
counter. And then the art was a little weird to me at first, and I realized, oh,
those are boulders that have already smashed someone else, aren't
smash
they?
people, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So anyway, I just want to mention that. So we've seen the red and the green triple.
Yeah,
ones.
Steel Leaf Paladin is the triple green one.
Yeah, that's a promo.
That's a promo. So yeah, we talked
Yeah.
about it. The Chain Whirler is the red one. I did not know this was a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, black has a really cool one.
Where I have
The
to do this.
Dread Shade.
Oh yeah, I saw this. This is kind of sick actually.
Yeah.
For triple black, it's a rare shade, Dread Shade, and for a single black, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and it's a 3/3.
Yeah. I think Nantuko Shade was really big when I was getting started. And
Yeah.
I didn't really understand why. Because there were other things that had this ability. I didn't understand what makes this card so important to mono black. And it's because most shades have incredibly low power and toughness. Because you have the ability to pump them anytime. Anytime you have a shade with even slight increases to its base power and toughness, it gets much, much stronger.
Yeah, like the original shade was a 0/1 for 3?
Zero,
Yeah.
one
Frozen
for 3.
Shade?
Frozen Shade.
Yeah. And then in Ice Age,
They got
there
Horse
was
Shade.
one that was it was a 1/2 for 4.
Yeah, that was the Horror Shade, right? HOAR.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, the-
And
And
there
then,
was
1/2 for 4.
there was a mostly functional reprint in Mirage Block, Festering something. There was a mostly functional reprint of the Horse Shade in Mirage Block.
and then Nantuko
Apparently
Shade
not
was
shade.
There was a
And then-
1/1 for 3 in Urza's Saga.
and I think that one made its way into like base sets, right?
Yeah.
So core sets.
Right.
And then Nantuko Shade was the first one that really
Looming
took off.
Shade. Yeah.
Looming
Yeah,
Shade,
Looming
yeah.
Shade.
But yeah,
And
there
Nantuko
have been
Shade.
lots. But
Yeah.
the Nantuko Husk was what Brian has been trying to say. Go for it.
The Shade.
Tugo Shade. Not
Shade.
that, that's something else.
Crap.
Was a 2/1 for 2
hmm
and was just incredibly powerful in mono black. Just incredibly powerful. So now we've got one that is incredibly demanding on your mana, but you really should be playing this in a mono black deck anyway. Probably. So
Oh, it's another quote from the Fall of the House of Vess. The forest surrounding the Vess estate became the Caligo Morass, a vast bog stalked by horrors too terrible to name.
You said more ass.
he did.
Been trying to get it. What's the blue? Oh, I saw the blue one on Twitter today. This is
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, the Tempest Djinn is blue, blue, blue. It's a rare Djinn, a 0/4 with flying, and it gets +1/+0 for each basic island you control.
Yeah, that's pretty
So
good.
It's keeping you honest by saying basic island.
But still.
Yeah, I mean, a 3/4 flyer for 3 mana is kind of sick.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So what's the one?
And then the flavor text seems to indicate that the Jinn actually came here from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. They came. Wait a minute, Gatherer.
Yep.
If I'm remembering this correctly.
So while he does that, the first to arrive on Dominaria from their distant home, the Marids are the oldest tribe of Jinn and the most respected by storm and sea.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
So Old Man of the Sea from Arabian Nights was originally printed with the creature type Marid, and now in Oracle it's a Jinn.
Ah. Nice.
Huh.
Can count on Mike for this sort of stuff.
Right? There's a reason Mike is the game lore guy. That doesn't mean, like, stories and flavor. That seems to be more Brian these days, but...
Yeah, that's like, have you noticed when people ask me about story points, I'm like, yeah, there was some guys that did this thing, and then Brian fills in the actual details. Yeah.
Last triple is in white, and it's the Benalish Marshal. And he's a 3/3 human knight, which is important because knights are really cool here. And he's a glorious anthem. Other creatures you control get +1/+1.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
There's so much good stuff.
So I'm gonna need to pull a dark and head out pretty soon too. But still, so much stuff. They reprinted Tragic Poet. There's so much good stuff here.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Yes. At Common.
I think it was Common in Urza's Legacy too, wasn't it?
Was it? Okay.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Well, Urza's
Tragic, not Targic. That's a different one.
Targic Poet.
Okay.
Yeah, it was common.
Okay. I think if there's one card I'm going to mention, I don't think we talked about Nabin last time, or Naban, or whatever you call him.
Oh, is that the iteration dude?
Yes. Did we mention this?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
The Dean of Iteration. For 1 and a blue, he's a 2/1 legendary human wizard. Rare. Basically, I was trying to say, hey, he's not mythic. But if a wizard entering the battlefield under your control causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. That would include its own, correct? So
it doesn't have any
it does
trigger
not.
abilities. Wait, what are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the ability of the wizard that is
Yes.
affected. Yes, that's true.
Correct. So a wizard that says when this creature enters the battlefield, you draw a card.
Yes.
Wait.
Okay.
So if you have something else that says when a creature enters the battlefield under your control, do a thing, and you play Naban, does that thing trigger twice?
He's a wizard.
Because he's a
Enters the
wizard.
battlefield.
Yeah, I should.
Dude.
Yes.
Perfect. Now do it again.
Yeah, this is the guy that was quoted on Wizard's Retort and Wizard's Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he's the Dean of Iteration. He's a teacher.
I'm sure that somebody by now has already said, "Oh, this combos with blah blah blah,"
With all the things.
and all the things. It is interesting that he only works specifically with wizards, so that it does avoid some brokenness.
Yeah, blue and red have this little miniature Wizards Matter theme going on.
Yeah. It's neat.
It is like the golden card, the first one. What Adeliz, the Cinderwind.
Mm-hmm.
For 1 a blue and a red is a 2/2 human wizard, uncommon legendary human wizard with flying and haste. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, wizards you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. What?
Yeah, yeah.
Which is why a lot of things I think aren't wizards. Like there are a lot of artificers, and thank goodness.
Yeah, so red and blue have the wizards. White and black have knights, right? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black and green have a small sapling theme, which we haven't
Yep.
talked about at all.
With the Thouds, I think we may have mentioned it a little bit with like the legend on Slime.
Yeah, maybe like last week, the week before. Yeah.
Yeah. So as always, they try and create these strategies for limited where you can play. You have different things to look for in each color combination. So it's always interesting to see how they overlap.
So much good stuff.
Whereas I can't help but see like a simple combination of Warlord's Fury in red for a single red. It's a sorcery. It's common. Creatures you control get first strike until end of turn, draw a card. And I immediately think of one of the last cards that Dirk previewed, the legend that your guys with first strike get double strike. And I'm like, yeah. So
Yeah, that's a red, white, common, and uncommon.
there you go. I will definitely be attending a pre-release. So, Mike, you said that you're definitely going to do the Sunday one, correct?
Did we lose Mike again?
You're kidding me. Oh, there it went.
Yep.
There it went. We're so close, or at least I am. I don't know about you guys. Maybe you'll be on for another 3 hours, but
Well, no, I think we're going to be done.
okay.
Dominaria pre-release is 21st to 22nd. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was like, is it really? Because ordinarily, we get like 2 weeks of talking about cards, and then we have a pre-release episode.
Well, it's 2 weeks and then a week off, right? So, like, as far as preview season is usually 2 weeks of previews and then a week off.
That's true.
Where you absorb the set, I guess.
We just had that bonus week at the beginning because of the leak.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Mike, you're going to the Sunday pre-release, is that correct?
Yeah, I ended up with something going on Saturday.
Okay.
Nice. Well, then that's the one I will also go to.
Very good. We'll just have to make sure that that Lucky. I'm assuming we're going to try and go to Lucky's. That they are doing a Sunday and that we can get spots. So
Yeah, Magic's going home, so we should go home for the pre-release, right? It only makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So should we go ahead and wrap it up since?
I think so. I mean, I'm going to say I think I need to. So.
Yeah, I think we've been going for longer than I meant to, actually, already. And there's still so much. Okay, wait, one more thing. It doesn't matter what the card does. Look at the art on Dub in white.
I love it. I love it. I
Oh
was looking
my
at that
God.
a while ago.
Is that not insane?
Mm.
Isn't that? You think this is a callback? Oh, what's that painting? I think the subject is Sir Galahad. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Crap.
I know you've seen it before.
I have.
This definitely reminds me of that.
Hang on. Images.
We're talking about callbacks to real world stuff.
Okay, maybe it's not Sir Galahad. Well, Googling painting Sir Galahad got me nothing.
Yeah.
Painting, Knight Ing. Oh, yep, this is it. This is the Accolade. Oh, dude, that is straight up. Wait, image link. Copy image address. Look at, no, that's Stark. Don't send that to Stark. Stark will be like, thanks. Look at that, and then look at Dub. Yeah, that's totally a callback to that. Oh. And it makes the creature a nice. So, okay. 2 and a white. It's a common aura. Enchant creature. The creature gets +2/+2, has first strike, and is a knight. And the flavor text is, Rise, Knight of New Benalia. Dude. Like, I saw somewhere on Twitter, some Wizards employee was like, we wanted to make sure that Dominaria didn't just fall into the nostalgia. Okay, the Wizards person didn't say this, but a nostalgia circle jerk. Like, they just didn't want that to happen.
Right.
So they added in cards that were just fantasy. And the example that they gave was the Pegasus Courser.
Yeah. Which is another beautiful art, by the way.
It is, but it's a flying Pegasus. When it attacks, another target attacking creature gains flying. So, and the art is a rider approaching a Pegasus. Like, it's just, it's approachable and understandable fantasy. And so many of those cards are in here, again, like Dub, which that has nothing to do with Magic other than the flavor text. And even the flavor text, you don't need to know anything about Magic. Like, this card is so understandable to everyone. Like, if I show this to my mom, she'd be like, oh, duh, I get it, because mom's cool like that, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, Muggles understand this card is my point here. Like...
Yeah, and I think they did that very well with the set as a whole. You don't have these completely unpenetrable cards that don't make any sense unless you know something.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones that are references to other people and places, either you don't have to get it for the card to make sense, or something in the flavor text suggests to you, hey, this is a thing from history. And you're like, oh, cool. But the card still makes sense by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going way back to the beginning of this podcast. It's just like watching Ready Player One. Like, if you don't know the references, it's still just a fun, enjoyable movie. And if you don't know the history of Magic, this is not like Time Spiral, where the nostalgia was impenetrable, as Mike said.
Yeah.
It's just good stuff. But if you know that other layer, it just enhances it, but it's not required. And then some cards, like the Golem, what was he called?
Karn?
What? No, the Cardic Wanderer.
I know.
There's that like extra deep layer, and the art on freaking Blood Tallow Candle that only Mike would ever have found. I'm about to tweet a picture of these two cards. I'm be like, holy crap! Look what Mike found. Like, there's that third, even deeper layer for like the hardcore fans. That's so great. I love this set. Like, you guys know me, and listeners too. They know that I don't read preview cards unless we're doing an episode, for the most part. And it's not so you get my honest reaction. It's because I've been doing this for so long, like reading preview cards. I just don't care. Like, the cards are going to be there. They're going to be neat ones. They're going to be dumb ones, whatever. But after about the first week of the previews of this set, I started checking the website every day. Like, scrolling through Twitter to see what people were talking about and then reading those cards. Like, because there's so much goodness that works on multiple different levels. And I'm dying here. Anyway, should we stop? I think we should stop.
Probably. I almost hate to, just because. Right? I keep going like, okay, all right. We haven't talked about, oh man, but then, another one. But then I see like 3 more.
Did you ever think Aether Glider would be reprinted?
No, I did not. But I saw it and I was like, I actually recognize that. Did you think that they would?
No, go ahead.
Did you think they would print another Lich card in this set?
I mean, it's basically the Lich, except fixed up to make a little more sense and work better.
Yeah. Well, and it has hexproof itself, so...
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
Do you know who previewed this card?
Who?
Who's that?
Richard Garfield.
Nice.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that, no.
So now you have to read it, Mike.
All right, so Lich's Mastery, 3 black. It's a legendary enchantment. It's rare. It has hexproof. You can't lose the game.
Yes!
Best card ever. Whenever you gain life, draw that many cards.
Yes.
That seems pretty good, too.
Bestest card ever. Whenever you lose life, for each 1 life you lost, exile a permanent you control, or a card from your hand or graveyard. Ooh, that's an upgrade.
Yeah, it is.
Picking stuff out of your graveyard. Okay, maybe a little drawback. When Lich's Mastery leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. Okay.
Whoops.
There it is.
But you know what? This one actually feels somewhat playable.
Mm-hmm. Being able to use cards from your graveyard
That's a huge difference.
To pay the penalty is a major upgrade.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I like the fact that you will never lose to decking yourself with this out. If that's their strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. So there you go. We're going to end on Lich's Mastery for this episode, and we hate to do it. There's so many. Look, you know what? I'm even going to close the card image gallery. Boom. There.
Probably a good idea.
Crap, I didn't get a picture of the damn for the tweeting. What was that? Blood tallow?
Blood tallow candle.
Yeah, that one. Okay, let me save the picture first, because I'm tweeting this, because I haven't seen this on Twitter yet. Save. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to close it. So, gentlemen, final thoughts. Let's try to get away.
I don't know how possible that is. I you know what? I'm gonna close it because I keep seeing other things, and I'm like, closing it now. Okay. I think I actually feel a little better now, which is terrible, but there's just too much good stuff. There's just too much good stuff. I reiterate my fear from last week that literally the next set as a core set will just feel, just like after this. This is the issue with it being so good is anything that comes after. You're like, who wants to follow that? You know, that's like a master pianist comes up and plays this grand concerto, and they're like, all right, next up for the talent show is Brian playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on the recorder.
I was muted.
Okay, I was like, did everybody drop off the call?
I was figuring Chewie was about to interject a quip, so I was waiting. I was waiting patiently for him.
I didn't have one, but when all that silence happened, I'm like, they're waiting on me to say something.
I guess if I'm going to have a final thought, that's maybe not about Magic and not about Hearthstone, because that's so close. It's that I have learned that they did a reboot of Reboot on Netflix. On Netflix. And I heard it's absolutely awful and not worth watching. Now,
I didn't even know they did that.
Apparently, they turned it into a live action / CGI show where some number of kids are called into the internet to be like Power Ranger type things, and they're calling it Reboot because I guess it uses one or two of the same characters.
Reboot the Guardian Code. It came out the end of March. I haven't even seen this on Netflix.
I hadn't heard of that.
Nah.
It popped up in my YouTube thread that somebody was like, they're doing this. And then the next report was, this looks like it has nothing to do with the source material. And then since it's come out, I have seen so many lists of like why people hate it. And I'm not going to judge it because I don't, I haven't seen it. But from what I have, just trying to be objective, from what I've learned about it, I don't know that it really appeals to me. So I'll just leave it alone, I guess. So
wow, apparently it's the same studio that did the original Reboot.
Okay, well, good for them.
Huh.
But it's yet another property from my youth that is now being exploited. I mean, revived / exploited. So sometimes that's not a bad thing, but
neat.
So it's kind of, I guess, if you're gonna, instead of being negative about it, I'll take the same approach that I take with the new Star Wars movies, which is if you don't like it, there's always the original source material to fall back on. So no one can ruin it as long as you like the original. No one can take that away from you. You may not like what they do next. You may actually enjoy it. That's fine. But so.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I've always had about Disney saying that the Star Wars expanded universe is no longer canon. Like Dirk really took that hard, and he's like I want to go back and read these, but they don't matter. And I'm like, technically they never mattered.
But they always matter to you.
But like the stories are still there, and they're still good stories, and still terrible stories, and still mediocre stories, and still brilliant stories. Because the expanded universe was highs and lows, up and down. But I don't know. I guess I can do that separation of, okay, well, these don't have anything to do with the new movies, but I'm gonna read them. and Dirk just can't.
Well, it's a thing where it's like,
And yeah, the reboot.
I mean, you have this deep knowledge of this thing that you're really interested in, and it's valuable to you to know about it. But now the things you knew aren't accurate anymore. And
Or
it's just kind of aggravating and depressing.
Maybe I still feel like if you enjoy them, then that no one can. Don't let someone else take that away from you. Just enjoy them for what they are. But where I think he comes from is that they mean less to other people. They're not seen as being quote unquote valid anymore.
Right.
And so, yeah. And with that, gentlemen,
Wait a minute, before you bounce. That said, if you were one of those people who watched the new reboot, The Guardian Code, and you thought it was cool, dude, that's awesome. I never watched the original reboot, so like I have no connection to either of them, so I will almost certainly never watch this one. So
I watched the original for a while. Apparently, it was on a long time after I stopped watching it. When I say that it sounds like it's terrible, it's because literally every review I have read or seen has been like, we don't like this. But I am not at all shaming anyone that does like it. So if you do, absolutely more power to you. So now I'm really going to head out.
Nice.
Before I fall asleep. I will talk to you gentlemen later. And I will definitely see you guys in a little over a week.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Going home.
Yeah, we are. Oh, feels good, man. Feels good, man. So how about you there, Bearded Man?
Let's see. Like we've expressed already, Dominaria is really exciting in the same, hey, that's cool way Time Spiral was. But it's also not weird and overly bizarre, which is also a really good thing, you know, even for someone for whom the weirdness and bizarreness of Time Spiral wasn't a block on anything. But yeah, it's exciting. It's cool. It's not just a bunch of okay cards seeded with a bunch of, you know, super efficient tournament cards that I don't actually care about. It's a bunch of cool, sweet stuff. And it's really encouraging.
Yeah. I can't even right now. By the way, since I've got it open, The Accolade is a classic painting by Edmund Blair Leighton. Leighton?
Okay. I don't know.
Leighton. From the 1900s on the subject of chivalry.
Yeah. I think maybe I've seen it used alongside articles or something about King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, which, you know, just as an example of a nice painting with a knight in it. And I just assumed, that's why I assumed it was Sir Galahad, I think. I guess that's not what it's actually about.
It's all over like postcards and stuff. And actually just Googling painting knighting, I'm seeing no less 3 different versions that are Zelda and Link. Like from different art styles and different flavor, different Zelda games.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all that exact pose, and they're blatantly Zelda and Link.
I'm not surprised.
Wow. And I searched for painting knighting. That's trippy, actually.
And that's the one you got, the one we were all thinking of.
Yeah, it's the very first one, and it's the Accolade, and it's a Wikipedia link. So, like, this is the one, and then all these others are, like, parodies and rehashes and whatnot. Nice. Anyway, sorry, I had that still open, so I thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah. I think that's the extent of my final thoughts for this episode.
So I sent that tweet with the memento and the blood tallow whatever it's called. Damn it, I already closed it.
Yeah.
It's already gotten 2 likes and 2 retweets. Hey, cool. Nice. Like it was like a minute and a half ago. Mike, you're a damn legend.
I mean, the art on Profane Memento was distinctive enough to just stick in my head, I guess.
Whatever, Mike, you're a legend. Shut up. Take the compliment. There was another one that you pointed out was blatantly, oh, this is totally this card, and I already forgot what that one was because
I don't know.
That one blew me. Mike's like, I've done it several times. I don't know.
I also closed the card image gallery.
It's better that way. It's better for all of us. Oh man. So yeah, my final thoughts are going to be the same. I think it's probably the name of the episode. There's so much goodness, dude. There's so much good stuff in this set. Oh, layers of goodness. I'm dying here. Sort of like when Overwatch showed the new Mei skin of Mei in her pajamas. I was dead on the floor. That's what this set is doing to me over and over and over. Every time I scroll through the card image gallery, I'm like, this is so awesome, and I die. I have more lives than Squee. Don't tell Bill, he'll get pissed. So yeah. With that, I've said it so many times, I'm just done. So you can find all of this stuff all over the internet as the Mana Pool. On Twitter at the Mana Pool, where I tweet out things like these two pictures next to each other that Mike just discovered, because Mike's a damn legend. On Facebook, it's the Mana Pool, where basically everything that we do gets mentioned or shouted out, or what's the word? Linked to. There we go. You know the words. I don't know the words. Math is easy. Alphabet is hard. And the YouTube channel, youtube.com/themanapool, where the podcast version, the video version of the podcasts, this one and Monday Night Magic, go up. Every week I do the Tavern Brawl in Hearthstone, Brawling with Buddies. I've got a lot of Hearthstone actually going on. If I get into, this code works for the Arena beta, oh yeah, there's going to be some Arena content going up on YouTube, and I'll be streaming it. Where will I be streaming it, you ask? Well, over on twitch.tv/themanapool. How about them apples? Where I've been streaming Overwatch because the new PvE, Player versus Environment, event started on Tuesday, and we streamed the heck out of that. And it was so good. Tuesday? It was Tuesday, yeah. It was so good, you guys. Oh my god. And then today I streamed opening 129 packs of the Witchwood, because today Witchwood came out on Hearthstone, and going through the cards as I got them and talking about, uses you could have for them and whatnot. And then I built a couple of decks and played some games with Cap from the Lair of Lore, who still streams all the time. He's been doing a lot of Pokemon Nuzlocke runs. He finished Pokemon Yellow, and now he's on, I don't know, Pokemon Generations, another game. He's on the second gen. I don't know. But that's at twitch.tv/Lair of Lore. Go check him out. They made the front page today.
Ooh.
And he didn't know. That's part of the reason why once everyone showed up, I didn't actually start the call yet. Is because I was in I sent him a Facebook message. I'm like, holy crap. And it was a link to the front page. And he's like, I'm streaming what? It's the front page. I'm like, look at it. He's like, it looks like crap. I'm on my phone. I'm streaming. I'm like, oh. So I went to his stream and I'm like, look at it, Cap. Look at it on stream on a PC. And he's like, what? I don't see anything. I'm like, read what you see. And he read off everything. And he goes, holy crap, that's us. I was so proud of him. And then his co-host, Miriam, I sent it to her. And she's like, what? Is it this? And she sent me the, MTG Arena creators thing. And I'm like, what? No. Above that. And she's like, what am I looking for? I'm like, just read all the titles, for God's sake. Because they're not used to seeing their names on the front page. That's good. They're still humble. They're not, Of course we're on the main page, like we are. Bunch of...
Yeah. So what is Nuzlocke, whatever you said?
A Nuzlocke run is like a Pokemon run that has, what's the word? Stakes.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are no stakes. Bill explained this to me in an odds and ends, actually, I think, that I just put up. There are no stakes in a Pokemon game, really. But the main thing in a Nuzlocke run is if one of your Pokemon faints, it didn't faint, it died. And you can't have it anymore. and like you're only allowed to catch one Pokemon, like the first Pokemon that you don't already have when you go to a new region or new area or new whatever the word is in Pokemon. I don't know. I've literally never played a Pokemon game, so my bad for my ignorance. But yeah, he worked his way through Pokemon Yellow, barely finished it, spoilers, and now he's on, like I said, whatever the second gen is, because I don't know. So yeah, there you go. But anyway, go check out Cap. He's my boy. He also, likes to stream with me and swear at me a lot, because I pick on him relentlessly. So, that is, what was that? That was twitch.tv/themanapool. That's where we do the live streaming. And then, if you want to help support what I do with all of the YouTube videos and streams and podcast videos and all that good stuff, the most direct way to do that is on Patreon at patreon.com/themanapool, where you can get the early stuff, Manapool episodes and YouTube videos before everyone else. You can get the early stuff and the odds and ends, which is all the behind-the-scenes nonsense recorded before and after both Monday Night Magic and the Manapool. That is uncensored and unfiltered, and it's us just being more us. We talk about Hearthstone with Mike and Brian, and Heroes of the Storm, and then Bill and I talk about Overwatch, and we all talk about the other nerdy stuff that's going on. It's just, and you get to see how the show gets put together, like how topics are decided on. Were we doing that this week or is that next week? Oh crap. Okay, hang on, let me write something up real quick. Yeah. After 10 years, it's a slapdash operation. We've upgraded to slapdash. But anyway, you can hear all that. And then, if you are exceedingly generous, you can become a Manapool lifeguard. That gets you the early stuff, the odds and ends, and you'll get the shout out on both podcasts and on the end slate for all of the YouTube videos that go up during each month that you support at that tier. So to that end, I would like to thank Kim Ho, Andrew Hunt, Al, Rafe Gall, Corey Cloutier, Paul David, Lance Delicious, Team U Hellas Are You, John Morris, Stuart Slaw, PJ McMullen, Bosco Brattain, Casey, Nathan Hay, Danny Liao, Jason Doan, AJ Javieres, Cody Buckowing, Jake Jansons, Jason Kaus, Brian DeLucci, Stark Maximum, Jimmy Scott, Dan Holm, Mike Miller-Burned, and the Beast Father, Aaron Goodwine, who, if you saw on Twitter, is the guy who mocked up the globe of Dominaria, which is super, super sick. Mike, you just saw that last night. Isn't that sick?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, with that, we're gonna be done. So, this has been the Manapool 505. Yeah, thank you all so very much for listening. And go play some Dominaria.